podcasts you love.
From people you trust.
This is Twit.
Hi, this is Leo Laporte, and this is my Tech Guy podcast. This show originally aired on the Premier Networks on Saturday, May 7th, 2022. This is episode 1891. Enjoy. The Tech Guy podcast is brought to you by userway.org. Userway is the world's #1 accessibility solution, and it's committed to enabling that fundamental human right of digital accessibility for everyone. When you're ready to make your site compliant, deciding which solution to use is an easy choice to make. Do what we did. Go to userway.org/twit. You'll also get 30% off Userway's AI-powered accessibility solution. And by IT Pro TV. IT Pro TV has everything you need to level up your IT skills while you enjoy the journey. Visit itpro.tv/twit for an additional 30% off all consumer subscriptions for the lifetime of your active subscription when you use the code TWIT30, TWIT30 at checkout. Well, hey, how are you today? Leo Laporte here. Yes, it's Tech Guy time, your worst nightmare. A nerd with his own radio show. Hi, how are you? Good to see you. This is the show where we talk about nerdy stuff. Computers, the internet, Star Trek, Star Wars, home theater, digital photography, smartphones, smartwatches, Star Trek, Star Wars, Wookiees, lightsabers, you know, that kind of thing. 8888 Ask Leo is the phone number. No, we won't talk about Star Trek or Star Wars. Just technology, okay? 888-827-5536. Toll free from anywhere in the U.S. or Canada. Outside that area, you could still call, but you have to use Skype out or something like that. 8888 Ask Leo. Website where we put all the links, everything we're talking about here, is techguylabs.com. And I mention that so that you don't have to feel like, I got to get a pad and paper and write down all the wonderful things Leo's saying. You don't. What, you don't have that urge? Well, oh, really? Oh. Well, if you did, you wouldn't have to, because we'll write it down for you. Put it all at the website, techguylabs.com. That's free. There's no sign up. You just mosey on in. This is episode 1891. 1891 for May 7th, 2022. So you can go right there, and there'll be links to all the things to talk about. In fact, it sometimes takes a little while, maybe a little day or two afterwards. Audio and video from the show will show up. On Sundays, we put all of the links to the music. Our musical director, Professor Laura, take a bow. There she is with her baton. She puts on the show, so because I know people always want to know, what was that great song you played? That's all there, audio, video. Oh, what else? One other thing, one relatively new thing. We've added transcripts. They're written by a computer, so they may not be perfect, but they give you an idea. Transcripts, and that way, in fact, they have time codes. So once the audio and video get up there, and you've got the transcripts up there, you can easily jump to the part of the show you want to reiterate, regurgitate, repeat. 8888 Ask Leo. Okay, somebody in the chat room saying, but what? We want Star Trek and Star Wars. It's on my mind because, they have a new Star Trek show. And I haven't watched it yet, but everybody's going crazy about it. So that's why it's on my mind. It's the prequel, the Captain Pike prequel. See, I did. I talked about Star Trek. I didn't mean to. Sorry about that. You know, us nerds, we can't not. Frontier, when I say the name Frontier, a chill goes down the spine of many people, many of them in the Southland of California, because Frontier took over for the local phone company and caused, I remember when that happened a few years ago, and man, we got the calls, the nightmares. Federal Trade Commission sued them in May of last year, and on Thursday, Frontier agreed to a settlement with the FTC and district attorneys in Los Angeles County and Riverside County, representing the people of California. Frontier must pay, says the FTC, $8.5 million to California for investigation and litigation costs. No, you don't get any of that. That's to California. You get $250,000 distributed to Frontier customers. In other words, you're going to get $125. Sorry. But you do get the satisfaction of knowing that Frontier has been mildly spanked. Just a tap. Just a little tap. Frontier must also make changes such as letting customers cancel service at no charge. Always bugs me when the cable companies do this. They charge you to cancel service. They charge you. It's like, well, you can't leave us unless you pay. I can't believe that would even be legal. What if you decided to, I don't want to use the dry cleaners down the street. I want to use the one across the street. And they charge you. That'll be $80 to quit. What? But that's what the cable companies often do. Anyway, Frontier can't do it anymore. They also must discount the bills of California customers, could be you, who is, well, not if you're not in California, but who have not been notified that they are receiving, and this was one of the big complaints, DSL service that is much slower than the advertised speed. That's the FTC talking. It was much slower. Frontier lied, said Sam Levine, FTC Bureau of Consumer Protection Director. Frontier lied about its speeds and ripped off customers by charging high-speed prices for slow service. Today's proposed order, I don't like that word proposed. What does that mean? Today's proposed order requires Frontier to back up its high-speed claims. Back it up. Beep, beep, beep. It also arms customers lured in by Frontier's lies. Excellent. With free, easy options for dropping their slow service. It's proposed because a judge has to approve it in the U.S. District Court for the Central District of California. The FTC approved the order in a 4-0 vote. There's pretty much agreement on that. Frontier did not admit or deny the lawsuit's allegations. However, Frontier did say the FTC's complaint included baseless allegations and disregarded important facts. But we settled the lawsuit in good faith to put it behind us so we could focus on our business of ripping you off. Providing high quality but slow and inconsistent DSL. Anyway, it's more a moral victory because if you're one of those Frontier customers who is unhappy, you're not going to get any money. Well, you might get $1.50, $1.25, something in there. It's just good. It took a while. And we've known this has been going on. Frontier, it's a long, sordid, sad story. Probably not over. They intentionally kind of underbuilt their physical plant and did all sorts of stuff. But the FTC caught them. Busted. Okay. Who else was busted this week? This is the week of being busted. Intuit. $141 million settlement over, quote, free, end quote, TurboTax ads. You've seen the ads. It's over now, right? I have, like many of you, fell for it. Oh, free. That's good. I do my mom's taxes for her, and free's good. I always end up paying $89 somehow, though. Intuit will pay $141 million to customers across the United States who were deceived by misleading promises of free tax filing services, according to New York's Attorney General on Wednesday. Under the terms of the settlement, signed by the Attorneys General of all 50 states, Intuit will suspend TurboTax's free. It's not free once, it's free 3 times. Free. That's 3 frees. Ad campaign and pay restitution to nearly 4.4 million taxpayers. Let me divide, after you take out the fees and divide 141 million by 4.4 million, again, you're going to get about $1.25. We've all seen those ads. Have you fallen for it? And did you end up paying? I know I did. It's a small price to pay to keep my mother out of jail. So, well, no, because you have to pay your taxes. That's why. No, I don't think they'd throw an 89-year-old lady out of in jail for not paying their taxes. But I think it's probably a good idea. So I'm going to do it. What else is in the news? Is that enough news? Renowned AI researcher fired again from Google. They keep firing the AI researchers because they tell them things they don't want to hear, I think. The Next Web's headline, AI research is a dumpster fire, and Google's holding the matches. Scientific research, they say, is no match for corporate greed. Oh, boy. Oh, boy. You see AI everywhere, right? Everywhere. Everybody's claiming, well, we have AI. Even if they don't, we have AI because it's just, it's the flavor of the month. We've got AI, so you should like what we do. A lot of times when they say it's AI, it's a computer program. It's not AI. It's a computer program. Enough of that. Enough about that. What about you? What about your technology? How is it working for you? 8888 Ask Leo is the phone number. 888-827-5536. Toll free from anywhere in the U.S. or Canada. Outside that area, you can still call. You should use Skype out. Leo Laporte, the tech guy. Your call's next. Hello. Some wag. You know how they put those, signs for missing cats up on telephone poles?
Yes.
Somebody put on a telephone pole a picture of Lionel Richie.
Yes. Hello, is it me?
Saying underneath, hello, is it me you're looking for?
I have seen that.
Have you seen it?
Yes.
Very funny. Hello, Kim Schaffer.
Hi. Again.
Hi. Kim and I were whistling during the break.
Yeah, we were.
We do it to annoy our engineers because they don't like it when we do that. How are you today?
Good, how are you?
I saw you yesterday.
I saw you yesterday again. It's become a thing.
We run into each other in the beautiful Marin area as I go down to have lunch with my daughter every Friday. Yeah, it's fun. Nice. We catch up. And you apparently do the same with
my friend whose daughter goes to tutu school. And
tutu
from what I
school's
understand, there's not a whole lot of dancing that goes on.
But they get to wear tutus, and that's all. When Abby was little, my daughter was little, that's it. When she was 2 or 3, she just wanted to wear a tutu all the time. There's something about it.
I guess her favorite part is coloring.
Yeah. Wearing a tutu and coloring.
Yeah. And then she gets a donut afterwards. She's been conditioned. She knows that she gets a donut right
There's
after.
Donuts involved? Now I'm interested. Who should I talk to?
Let's go to Mark in Santa Ana.
Mark in Santa Ana.
9-1.
Hello, Mark. Leo Laporte, the tech guy. Thank you, Kim. Mark, are you there? Mark? He's not there, Kim. What should I do?
Okay, put him on hold.
Can you hear me?
There he is. He just came over. He came running around the corner. Reach! Yes, I can hear you now, Mark.
My specialty is putting myself on mute with my Android phone.
It happens a lot. Yeah.
Yeah. Sorry about that.
No, that's
down.
Not a problem. No, I think people call on cell phones. It's so easy to accidentally, with your cheek, hit the mute button. That this happens a lot.
I got the Blue Parrot.
Oh.
At your recommendation, I got the Blue Parrot.
Are you on the Parrot today?
Yep.
Sounds good.
Yeah. Okay, so Frontier, just so you know, my high school history teacher got it, and it was such a nightmare. I went up there for weeks, and then they wouldn't show because of all that. And the only way this is ever going to get fixed is when the fines hit the C-suite compensation.
I agree.
Otherwise, everybody else gets penalized who shouldn't be penalized, and they still get their bonuses.
They make plenty of money, and these fines are slaps on the wrist. And I do. You know, in Europe, they've got it right. The fines are tied to your revenue, and they're a significant portion. So if you violate GDPR, the fines can be as much as 10% of your global revenue, which is, not insignificant. I think we need to do that. Anyway, thank you for weighing in on that. Yeah.
Yeah. So I had a question about Windows Media Player. I'm trying to move music from Windows Media Player on Windows 7 to Windows 10. I copied the music directory, and there's also in the root another music directory that's all tied in. And the music plays, but all the stuff that was put in manually, either lists or all that stuff. And I cannot figure out how to move either the song, manually put in song names or lists. I don't know where that is. I don't know if there's a program that can just move it or... Yeah, so obviously, if you think about it, the music itself, that's easy to find. You can see it. That's a song. It's an MP3 or an WMV or, some form of music. And so it's easy to move. But there's what I call, because I'm cool and hip, metadata, which is data above and beyond the song itself, like playlists, likes, anything that you've added. And that isn't stored necessarily with the song. It's usually stored in a separate file. So what you do, open Windows Media Player and go to your playlists and just right-click on the playlist, and you'll see in the pop-up menu, Open File Location. And that is the easiest way to figure out where the heck have you stored this. It'll be in a folder, and you'll see in the folder all the playlists, and you can copy those over. Excellent. I thought that was going to be harder than I thought.
Yeah. There may be, and I'm not exactly sure on Windows Media Player, but this is true of iTunes. It may be an additional file or number of files that are either indexes because they want to speed up searches or XML files describing settings and stuff. So in that area, probably not in the playlist folder, but maybe a folder above, there may be other files with a .xml. You might want to copy those as well.
Okay.
Otherwise,
cool.
You're done.
Yeah, and hey, in the next event you're at, I'll keep taking your pictures.
Oh, this is my good friend. Of course, I should know Mark from Santa Ana. I know who you are. Thank you. Yep. Yeah, we haven't done anything in more than 2 years since COVID.
Yeah, I know. I would go on the cruise, but it requires vaccinations, and I don't have one, and I've already got COVID.
Oh, I'm sorry.
So, and it was...
Get a vaccination, because it is. People are starting to get it now. I know many people, including some of our employees, who've gotten it, and thank goodness they're vaccinated. So it's like for them, it's been like a cold. It hasn't been too bad. However, there are people at our place of work, and I'm sure many places of work, who can't get it for various reasons, and maybe they're immune compromised and stuff. And those are the people we still have to protect. So, believe it or not, you probably noticed Mike is not here. We've once again shut down our studio, required mask wearing, because enough people around us are starting to get it again. I guess it's that BA2 variant. But the good news is, at least in our circle, those people are doing okay because they're vaccinated. Hard not to note that this week, we passed a milestone, 1 million deaths from COVID over the last 2 years and some months. That's just so horrible. So tragic. So stay safe, Mark. And if you can, I know some people can't, but if you can, get that vaccine, get that booster. I got boosted once. My wife's getting boosted right now as we speak. She's over at Safeway getting a shot for her second booster. Because we're all going on a cruise with our podcast listeners, the Twit Cruise in Alaska in July, and both of us want to make sure that we're okay. We don't get it. We don't want to be carriers. So, yes, still not open to the studio. In fact, our employees, we sent them home. It's interesting. Apple wants to bring in many of its employees to work. They said, okay, it's time to come back. And it's estimated about half of them are willing to quit rather than come back. Not because of COVID, but because, hey, it was kind of fun working at home. We don't really need to come in, be bothered by other coworkers. Scott Wilkinson coming up next. Home Theater. Stay tuned. Double boosted. And Kim put her mask back on after I said all of that. Did you just go, oh, whoops?
No, it was because I was walking down the hall.
I tested, Burke tested, and John, we all tested this morning before we came in.
I tested yesterday.
Yeah. Micah does not have COVID, but Micah decided not to. I should be very clear about that. Micah does not have COVID. But we changed the rules in the studio, so he can't, even if he wanted to, he can't come in. But we all tested before we came in, too. So Yeah, just have to be safe. You know, we were at a concert on Thursday night in an auditorium. About halfway through, I've put a mask on. I went, this makes me nervous. Hello, Scott Wilkinson.
Hello, Leo Laporte.
How are you?
I'm doing fine. I'm starting to get a little nervous. I'm going next. I'm planning, should be going next week up to San Jose to a conference.
Yeah,
an actual conference.
Yeah, I think we're going back into the little bit of a mini hibernation.
Well, yeah.
Take a chance.
At this point, I'm still going. I'm going to wear a mask everywhere except when I'm on camera.
Yeah, I think if you wear a mask, it's okay.
Yeah.
I
need
concert,
to go get my second booster.
Yeah. Well, that's what I've noticed is. But man, all of a sudden, I know a lot of people who have it. You know, I don't want to name names, but they're just all over. Friends and friends of friends and family of friends are getting it the area.
We just had a very close friend of ours in Santa Cruz.
Yeah, it's
that we spent time with last weekend.
Yeah, there you go.
So
there you go. But all of them,
testing.
Thank goodness, knock on wood, because they're vaccinated. Mild. It's been like sore throat. Mm-hmm. Cory Doctorow was saying it was just it was the worst sore throat he's ever had, but it was just a sore throat, right. And a day or two later he's fine, and thank God for the vaccine. Mm-hmm. But still, you don't want to get somebody who is not vaccinated or is immunocompromised or that kind of thing.
Right.
Sick.
Right.
So that's kind of half the reason I put the mask on, is not just to protect me, but just so in case I had it for some reason, I wouldn't. Yeah, unknown.
Asymptomatic.
Yeah, that's why I tested this morning before I came in. I thought,
we're supposed to go to Cleveland in June for my wife's nephew's wedding. And at this point, we're still planning to go, but we're going to wear masks the whole time.
Yeah. Well, that's the other side of it is I think we're a little more willing to risk it because it seems to be because those of us who are vaccinated are getting mild cases. Even if you got it, it's going to be mild. Now, I'm trying to decide. I want to see my mom next month. Mm-hmm. And I'm really trying to decide. She says, don't come out.
East Coast, right?
Yeah. She says, don't come out. It's just spiking here. I said, yeah, but I really want to see her. So, and of course, I don't want, she's vaccinated, but I don't want to, she's, 89. I don't want to risk her. So.
Yeah, of course.
I don't know what to do. I'm going to get the fourth shot, I think, before then.
Check Dino's wondering what change I've made to my background. See if you can find it. There is a change there.
I think I won't say anything. I know what it is. I see a couple of changes, actually.
Yep. Tell you what, I'll move out of the way and you can see a couple things. The lighting on the bookcase might be a bit too bright.
What do you want to talk about, Mr. Scott Wilkinson?
Well, I wanted to finish my thought from last week about ATSC 3.0 and MIMO.
MIMO. This episode of The Tech Guy brought to you by our good friends at userway.org. Userway.org. I'm talking about making your website ADA compliant, accessible. Not only is it the right thing to do, because you're opening up your website to a much larger group, 60 million plus people, you have a responsibility to make your site accessible. It's a public entity, so you got to make it accessible. And with Userway, it's easy. That was my biggest concern was, I can't afford it or it's going to be too hard. No, Userway is really affordable and it's really easy. And incredible, it's AI-powered. It tirelessly enforces all the accessibility guidelines, the WCAG guidelines. And I love this, so do our engineers. It's one line of JavaScript. That's it. Because Userway is so good, it's used by more than 1 million websites, including the big guys, Coca-Cola, Disney, eBay. These are companies that really have to be accessible, and Userway can do that. As you get bigger, they scale with you. If they can handle Disney, absolutely they can handle you. They make best-in-class, enterprise-level accessibility tools available to you, your small or medium-sized business. And then as you scale, you need Userway, and you're ready. It just makes business sense. Some of the biggest problems, nav menus, very difficult. So the way this works, If you're blind or you're using accessibility tools, there is what they call an accessibility layer. That's what the screen reader sees. So really what UserWay does is make sure that all the information available to the front page to the sighted user is available to the browser in the accessibility layer. It changes colors. Now, you've got your Pantone color for your business. Of course, we do too. It doesn't change that, but it adjusts hue and luminance so it's easier for people with vision issues to read. So UserWay will generate alt tags. That's one of the reasons it needs AI. It can actually see the picture and generate an alt tag that matches the picture automatically. You can go in if you want. You can modify it, of course. It fixes violations like vague links, fixes broken links, makes sure that your website uses accessible colors, and you'll get a detailed report of all the violations that were fixed on your website so you know exactly what it did. Plus, you can work with it. UserWay integrates seamlessly with your site builder software. Let UserWay help your business meet its compliance goals, improve the experience for your users. UserWay can make any website fully accessible, ADA compliant, and everyone who visits can browse seamlessly, customize it to fit their needs. It's a great way to show your brand's commitment to the millions of people with disabilities. It's the right thing to do. We're big fans. UserWay can make any website fully accessible and ADA compliant. With UserWay, everyone who visits your site can browse seamlessly and customize it to fit their needs. It's also a great way to show your brand's commitment to millions of people with disabilities. We do it. You should too. Go to userway.org/twit. You'll get 30% off UserWay's AI-powered accessibility solution. UserWay, making the internet accessible for everyone. Visit userway.org/twit. today. We thank UserWay for supporting the Tech Guy Show, and you support us when you use that address. Lets them know you saw it here. userway.org/twit. He is hip. He is Scott Wilkinson, our home theater guru at youtube.com/AVS Forum. That's where his fabulous AVS Forum show is every week on the YouTube, and joins us every week to talk about home theater. Hello, Scott.
Hello, Leo.
Welcome. Mike had taken the day off because he's fine, thank goodness.
Good,
but,
glad to hear it.
But we had a little COVID outbreak here in the studio, so we're sending people home and wearing masks and all that stuff as usual.
Yeah, I'm going up to a convention in San Jose next week. The first, real in-person convention I've been to in all this time, 2 years plus. And I'm starting to get a little worried because, they're...
Lisa and I went to see an Ann Wilson concert in an enclosed theater on Thursday, and about halfway through, I started to go, and I put on my mask. I had my ear plugs and my mask on. I was barely there, but at least I could feel the bass drums through the floor. So I had something. It was nice to be around people. But I got nervous too. Yeah.
Well, I'm going to be wearing my mask, except when we're on camera. We're going to be recording the podcast. It won't be live this next week.
Okay.
Because getting an Ethernet hardwire into a booth is
you can't do
so
that.
expensive.
What conference is it?
It's called Display Week.
Oh.
Put on by the Society for Information Display, and it's a super geeky display technology conference.
You mean like TV sets kind of displays?
Deep, yes, TV sets, but deeper into it. What is the technology behind the television? So there's going to be a lot about quantum dots, and there's going to be a lot about HDR.
Yeah.
But the deeper technical aspects. So we're going to be in the Nanosys booth, which is the primary maker of quantum dots, the raw quantum dots.
Yeah.
And they work with Samsung and other companies to, make the films and the things that they need to implement the quantum dots in their TVs. So hopefully we'll be talking to somebody from Samsung Display.
Fun.
And somebody from Nanosys. I'll tell you all about it on next week's show.
Okay.
For now, though, I wanted to finish a thought I had last week that I was about to talk about, but then, of course, we ran out of time. Regarding ATSC 3.0. This is the new broadcast standard for television around the world, actually. It's not just U.S. And one of the things that they showed at the NAB show a couple weeks ago was an experiment in what's called MIMO, multi-input, multi-output broadcasting, which has been around in cell phones, I think, for some time. You undoubtedly know about it.
Oh, yeah. It's been around in Wi-Fi as well for some time.
And Wi-Fi as well. Well, now they're going to do it. They're working on implementing it in broadcast television. So what it is basically is you have electromagnetic waves, which are what all broadcast is, cell phones, Wi-Fi, television, everything. And you can have this electromagnetic wave that has a horizontal component and a vertical component. So this is called horizontal polarization and vertical polarization. And it turns out you can transmit data on both of those polarizations independently, which means you could broadcast two different signals, one in the horizontal polarization, one in the vertical polarization, or you could combine them together to double the bandwidth of the data that you can transmit. So at NAB, they were talking about actually transmitting an 8K video signal using this MIMO technology. And so over the air, over ATSC 3.0, over the air. So I find that very interesting because, as you probably will say, and I would agree with you, most broadcasters, once this becomes available, will use it to transmit more different signals at lower resolution.
Yeah, well, for sure not 8K because there's so few people that can see it that wouldn't be
right. Although that's going to increase.
Yeah.
At the moment, there aren't even any stations that are up and running with ATSC 3.0 that are doing 4K.
Somebody told me KTLA in Los Angeles is.
Well, no? I just an hour ago, I was emailing with the PR guy for ATSC.
Yeah.
And he said that as far as he knew, nobody was actually doing it.
Maybe for special events?
Maybe for special events. Maybe for sports.
The thing is, they make money by having multiple channels. They can make more money.
Exactly. Yeah. Exactly.
So it's going to be hard to convince them not to make money.
On the other hand, remember when HD, high definition, first came out? There was very little content. And it ramped up as more and more people got HD TVs. And I think the same thing is happening here. There is 4K content, streaming, certainly, and on Dish, satellite once in a while. Not Dish, DirecTV, sorry. And Netflix does it, and Apple TV does it, and there are a few streaming providers that do it. There's a provider in Idaho that's actually, dig this, they're actually providing content in 4K over using the ATSC 3.0 protocol, but they're streaming it. It's not going over the air. And I asked Dave, well, what's the difference between that and a streaming, just any old regular streaming platform? Well, it's a slightly different format, blah, blah, blah. It's a behind baseball kind of thing.
Inside baseball.
Inside baseball.
You don't want to be behind the baseball. Actually, you don't want to be inside it either, frankly. Okay.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, that's true.
It's something, in other words, that aficionados want, but not normal people.
Well, yeah.
Yeah.
Still, over the
Poor
air.
normal people. We really, we give them a hard time. Like, their needs and wants and desires are so limited. They're just, oh, you poor normies. But
now, here's one interesting thing about MIMO, though, is that it requires a slightly different type of antenna, which is bad because, okay, you need to buy another antenna. The good news is it's compatible with fixed wireless 5G.
Compatible with?
It means if you have a MIMO antenna for your TV, it will also receive 5G.
Okay.
And distribute that through your home.
Oh.
Allow you to distribute that through your home.
Interesting. So it's the same frequencies is what you're saying.
Correct.
Interesting.
And the same technology.
Yeah.
So, which I guess MIMO, 5G uses MIMO to increase its bandwidth. It's higher bandwidth than 4G, right?
Sure.
So
yeah.
I'm pretty sure they must be using
MIMO tends
to
eat up the spectrum. In fact, I know there have been problems with MIMO, overly aggressive MIMO Wi-Fi. Your neighbor could basically blast you out of existence.
Really?
But I guess since the FCC protects the individual frequencies for these channels, it's okay for them to be extra powerful. No one's competing with them.
Well, right. Plus the fact that it's not increasing the number of or the bandwidth or the frequency that you're using.
No,
it's
that's
the
right.
Same frequency.
It's the same frequency. Yeah.
It's just two different polarizations within that frequency.
Right.
So being able, and this fixed wireless, I think is around now. If you have wireless towers and 5G, you need more wireless towers because its range is more limited, right? If you have one near enough to you, you can pick it up by this new antenna, and then you have it in your house.
Rebroadcast inside your home.
That's right. Well, and you don't need to have a cable installed into your home for faster service. You don't need
feel like
fiber,
this is all stuff nobody really cares about. To be frank, this is because, again, like I said with ATSC 3 in general, the broadcasters are fighting a rearguard action against internet, and I just think internet is already won.
Yeah, well,
but I don't know.
That may be.
I don't know.
That may be.
Scott Wilkinson, follow him on YouTube, youtube.com/AVS Forum. And, of course, right here, he is our home theater geek. More calls coming up right after this. All yours, Scotty, for four
Thank
whole
you.
minutes. Have you seen the new Star Trek?
No, not yet.
Steve Gibson was very happy with it, which is a good sign.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, I'm glad about that. I'm just starting Picard season 2. I'm behind the curve.
Yeah.
So nobody give me any Picard spoilers.
Yeah.
But and then Strange New Worlds. I'm really looking forward to it. I just haven't sat down and watched it yet.
Strange New Worlds. I have to get used to that. We have to. SNW is the acronym.
SNW. Oh yeah, Strange New
Yeah,
Worlds.
yeah.
Right,
because we have TNG.
right.
We have all the
TOS original series.
All the Star Treks. Yeah.
Yeah. DS9.
Yep.
Now we have SNW. And I guess we have P for Picard.
Yeah, I don't know what we call Picard. Yeah.
Mick in the chat room is saying, Cleveland is in my neck of the woods. Be sure to pack heat. If COVID doesn't get you, well, I'm going to be fine.
Cleveland's great. Don't knock Cleveland. Cleveland's a wonderful town.
Yeah, and we're out about an hour outside of
that's
Cleveland
too bad. Because you could go to the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, which is well worth the trip.
Okay. Right.
Cleveland's fantastic.
Well, we're going to be apparently there's a wine country near Cleveland, and we're going to be in that area.
Who doesn't love Ohio wine?
Well, I'll tell you. I'll give you a report.
Let me know.
Yeah. Yeah, Dr. Mom Grandma says the counts are going back up again.
Yeah.
So I'm a little nervous about this conference next week. I guess I'll go. But I'm going to try to be really, really careful. Dr. Mom Grandma says also, remember to let the rapid test percolate for 30 minutes.
Yeah, that's not what it says on the box. In fact, it says...
No, the box says 10,
Yeah,
actually.
it says do not read it after 15 minutes, So
should we...
I would follow the instructions on the box.
Follow the instructions on the box. Hey, Phoenix Warp 1. Good to see you. Always good to see everybody here in the chat room. No one has yet identified what change I've made in my background. Lawn Dog says, did you build the lighted cube or did you buy it? I bought it. I actually bought it. That's right. I thought it was maybe a gift, but no. You can build one. They actually sell kits, the same company. Look up Hypercube. I forget the name of the company. That might be the name of the company. The product is the Hypercube, I believe. Anyway, they sell kits. You can buy a kit and build it. I didn't. Let's see. Oh, Dr. Mom Grandma says it's the new guidelines. The box instructions are old. Okay. Redacted. The Buddha. There's a Buddha. I changed its position. That's true. It's now sitting on top of the googly eyes clock in front of the sparkly lava lamp. But that had been there before. Not easily seen, which is why I put it there, because it made it a little easier to see. But there's a brand new item up there that I hope somebody will see.
Is it a geode?
It is a geode. You found it.
I gave them all the time, and now I'm afraid the time is up. So I'm going to give you the answer and turn over all the cards. Stick around for the top.
You bet.
All right. Thank you, sir. Leo Laporte, the Tech Guy, 8888. Ask Leo, the phone number on the line from Rancho Santa Margarita, California. Tom. Hello, Tom.
Hi. Enjoyed the whistling, by the way.
We try not to do that on the air. The engineers up in the NOC get very upset.
All right. Well, I have an issue with a 60-inch plasma display.
Yes.
I have a Pioneer Elite Pro F150 FD. It was one of the first plasmas from the Kuro.
Yes. In fact, I had one of those. Well, I had one, a Kuro plasma. Scott said, keep it, right, Scott? Because those are precious, precious TVs. They don't make them anymore.
It is the best.
Yeah.
So the problem is that it's about 14 or 15 years old.
Yes.
I also have a Pioneer Elite Pro AV receiver VSX52, and I had this whole thing professionally installed. They put a power conditioner in, a Panamax power conditioner, a surge protector on the TV. I had an electrician come in and put a separate circuit breaker for the entire system. And
all of that a very good idea, especially the surge protector. I think people don't realize how sensitive a lot of these electronics are to surges. So if you spend a lot of money on a home theater system, that's a really good idea.
So that surge protector is the same age as the TV.
Well,
and I also have an an Apple TV set up with it, and an Xbox, and everything goes into the receiver, and then one line goes out to the TV.
Nice.
So lately, my plasma display just turns itself off.
It's probably.
And I'm wondering if
I'm going to guess it's overheating. Scott, what do you think, Scott?
I think you're right. It's probably overheating, and that the power supply might very well be failing.
Yeah, that happens too. 14 years is pretty old.
That's pretty
Sad
old.
to say.
Yeah.
When you say the power supply, are you talking about the surge protector?
No. The internal power supply on the TV.
Yep.
Oh, I see. Okay. Yeah.
Yep.
And I doubt Pioneer I doubt there's people out there who can fix that at this point. Do you think?
Well, there may not be. On the other hand, last time I visited Pioneer, which was some years ago, they did have sort of a rack of Pioneer Kuros online just waiting in the warehouse because they have to keep up the warranty.
Right.
They have to be ready to fix things.
There's not much of a warranty after 14 years.
Well,
hey, somebody's saying it could be the surge protector, but you have it all plugged into the same surge protector, right? So the other things aren't turning themselves off.
Yeah, everything is plugged into the Panamax power conditioner.
Okay. So if nothing else is turning itself off, then the Panamax is fine. Although you should know that those things also wear out. The capacitors in them can age, but also if it's got a battery in it, that probably needs to be replaced. But that's...
Well, I recently switched plugs with the TV on the Panamax, and after I did that, that's when the TV started to exhibit this kind of event.
Plasmas get very hot. That was one of the negatives of plasmas. Mm-hmm. Do they have fans in them, Scott, to cool them?
Some of them do, yeah.
I don't think this one does.
Okay.
When I walk by it after a night of watching TV, I can basically warm
that's a room heater. Yeah.
So I'd make sure that all the venting is clear and there's dust gets in there. That could be causing overheating. If you can be careful taking the backs off of any TV, but if you can carefully not touch anything, take the back off and make sure there's no dust clogging it in there. But it also could be the power supply. And if you can go on eBay and probably find a replacement power supply.
Oh, undoubtedly.
People, pick and pull from old TVs.
And call your local TV repair shop. They might be able to.
They might have some. Yeah, it's worth. Is it worth? Okay. So here's the question: is it worth keeping that alive?
Oh, that's a good question. Depends on how much it is, because TVs are so cheap now.
And frankly, as good as that plasma was, the OLEDs are better.
Correct.
That's what my next question was. I've been listening to you forever and hearing about the OLEDs, but we want a bigger TV. This one's a 60-inch, and we'd like a 70, 75, or 77-inch.
Yeah, get as big as you can get. And you can get a nice OLED of that size. It'll be brighter. That plasma after 14 years is probably considerably dimmer. Weirdly, plasma is a little gas cell, and they leak slowly, but they get dimmer over time as the plasma gas leaks out. The way they work is there's gas in there that gets charged, and as it starts to kind of slowly leak out, it gets dimmer and dimmer. So you would get I think if you put a 78-inch OLED in there or even bigger, you'd be blown away.
Oh, completely.
It has a specific brand. Is there a specific brand that LG is better than the others? I heard.
Well, LG and Sony are the two main brands, and they're both excellent. They're both based on LG panels.
Sony won the shootout this year.
That's right. But LG came in,
close
tied,
second. I don't think there's that much difference. Yeah,
there's not that much difference. I was just looking myself at the LG 77-inch C2, which is their current model.
I want it. That sounds
$3,500.
Oh my gosh, that's great.
Say it again. LG
77 inches.
Yep.
Which is nice size.
Nice size. C2 is the current model year.
Actually, if you're willing to go back a year, you can get it for $26.96 on Amazon.
For the C1.
Yeah, for the C1. And, I don't think they change that much year over year.
They don't. They improve the video processing year by year, but there isn't a major shift. I believe, actually, now that I'm thinking about it, the 2022 model, they might have migrated their Evo panel down to the C line. It used to only be in the G line.
So it might be better to get the
It might be better to get the 2022.
$4,000 for the 83-inch 2021 on Amazon.
So what was the LG part number again on that 77-inch?
It's called 77C2 for the 2022 or 77C1 for the 2021.
Get it? The number is the year. Although that breaks when they get to 2020, but that's another matter.
But actually, 2020 they used an X for 10, like Apple did with their iPhone.
So C2 is the current one, and that's probably the one you'd want. If you just search for LG OLED, and then you'll see they range from 48 inches to 83 inches, and the price ranges equivalently.
Indeed.
Okay. Thank you.
You're going to get HDR. You're going to get HDR with that. You don't have that on the Panasonic. On the Pioneer.
Bad news. You now are entering the upgrade cascade because probably that Pioneer amp isn't going to do 4K either. So you're going to need to get a good AV receiver. If you have a less than 4K Apple TV, you're going to want to upgrade that to the latest. Same thing with your Roku.
Yeah,
so all that stuff has to be upgraded. The HDMI cables have to be upgraded.
Probably.
Yeah, you're replacing everything.
If they're 14 years old, yeah.
Well, you want HDMI 2.1 if you can get it.
Correct.
So all of that may add up.
Lovely.
But you will get a beautiful,
unbelievable.
My wife, when we look at our LG OLED, she says, it's too real. Let's go back in the other room. I feel like I'm there and I don't want to be.
I disagree with her philosophy on that.
My wife has complained about that with the Vizio. It looks too much like a video cassette.
Yeah, turn off. So that's because
motion smoothing.
Yeah, that's because you have motion smoothing turned on, and that does make it look plasticky or the soap opera effect. That's because it's interpolating frames. It's not getting 120 frames, so it's making up what's in between. and it gives it a very icky look. That should be turned off on all televisions. Thank you. Great questions. Thank you for sticking around, Scott Wilkinson, Leo Laporte, the tech guy. More calls coming up. Stay here. Woohoo. That was a very fun call. I'm so glad you were here for that, actually.
It really was. It was perfect.
Yeah, it was exactly what we should be talking about. All right, all yours for the next 8 minutes and something.
All right. Sorry if I this week and last week got a little too.
Oh, I don't mind. No. I don't mean it when I say we should be talking. I don't mean it that way. Okay. No, I like it when you get people like it when you get geeky. That's fine. That's fine. ATSC. There's a lot of interest in ATSC 3. Mm-hmm. They really want to know, and I understand that,
Well, good.
Yeah.
Okay. Bleep Blurp says it's now hard to find a 70-incher under $1,200. Well, yeah, that's true. A good one anyway. You can probably get an Insignia or a Westinghouse or one of the third-tier TV brands, maybe a 70-inch for under $1,200. I'd have to do a little research on that, but I don't recommend it. I mean, in a sense, and in many senses, you get what you pay for. And I've often talked about the price-performance ratio, right? So you chart price on the vertical and performance on the horizontal, however you want to define performance. And as you increase price, you increase performance. Maybe price on the horizontal and performance on the vertical. Yeah, I think that's the way it is. That's the way it is. So as you pay more, you get better performance. But there's a point at which the performance part of the curve starts to level off. And you pay more and more and more and more and more to get a smaller and smaller increment in performance. And so where I like to recommend people go is to find that what's called the knee, where performance goes up as price goes up steeply. And then at some point it levels off. And that point where it levels off, that's where you want to be. You're going to pay more than a super cheapie, but you're going to get much better performance. And you don't have to spend more than that because your increase in performance is only going to be marginal. So that is my recommendation for that particular thing. Wow, a bunch of people are joining all of a sudden. Look at that. Wow. Why is that, I wonder? Anyway, hey, Loquacious. Always good to see you. My Renaissance Fair friend. We didn't get there, obviously, this year because it's down in L.A., We're thinking about going to the northern one, which is in the fall. But it used to be in Novato, which was great. I used to play at that fair, and it was wonderful. And then it was in Vallejo, and I never went there. Now it's at Casa de Fruta, which is east of Watsonville, sort of in the Hollister area. And I've never been to it yet, so I don't know, but I would suspect it's not exactly isolated from the rest of the world. I have that problem with the Irwindale location in Southern California as well. You can look out and see modern houses, and it's got concrete paths, and it's not truly a recreation of the Renaissance. And I doubt that Casa de Fruta, which is and has been for a very long time a kind of a fruit stand stopping point on the highway from the coast into Highway 5, I guess. And so I don't know. We might go this year just because. Why not? Burke, yeah, buy a new, better, bigger TV. Damn straight. Keith 512, yeah, plasma display would overheat at the end of its life. It overheats. It gets hot. It's a room heater. I remember at CES years and years ago, Panasonic had a 102-inch plasma that you basically had to either crane or helicopter into your house before you put the roof on. Otherwise, you couldn't get it in the house. But I'm sure that thing was, man, talk about a heater. Yikes. So look at all these people who have joined all of a sudden. Wow. Eric Duckman says, I wait till things break before I replace them. I tend to do that as well, to tell you the truth. My cars, certainly I do that. I drive them into the ground, and then I go get a new car. But I keep cars for at least 10 years and more. My current car is now 10 years old, and it's only got 65,000 miles on it because, well, COVID. But I work at home anyway, so I don't really drive it a lot. And I recently took it into Toyota, and they said, well, you're taking really good care of your car, except for one thing. You don't drive it enough. So, okay, well, I'm going to keep it as long as I can, but I'll drive it a little bit more. Oh, Burke says the IRC server crashed, so everybody's returning. Am I not in here? Did I get kicked out? I still see the chat room. How weird. I'm not in the list. Look at that. Oh, do I have to log back in? That's kind of weird. Oh, and now all of a sudden I'm back. Oh, I jumped back to the beginning? Oh, huh. Well, if you guys can hear me, can you hear me still? Am I still on? Can you hear me now? IRC is hiccuping. Look at all the rebands. Huh. Oh, that's weird. If you can still hear me, I'm going to still talk. Oh, and look, a new home just came up on Redfin. Loquacious, yeah, I do miss the fair days. I do too. We really want to go. So like I said, we'll probably go to Casa de Fruta this fall because that's within driving distance. Pacheco Pass. I believe that's correct, Brian W. Danaz, did I play tuba at the Renaissance Fair? No, of course not. There were no tubas in the Renaissance. I played sackbut, which is the Renaissance trombone. And that is, I played in the Queen's Own Band. And we paraded around the fair and played for the show on the main stage when the Queen shows up in her procession around the Shire. I certainly don't parade anymore. I don't march anymore. I am not in the chat room, but I can see the chat room. I'm guest 61538, huh? How do I go ahead and change that? Oh, look at that. I am guest 61538. How do I change my name? Someone there can tell me, I'm sure. Sideshop says...
/Nick.
Oh, /Nick?
Yeah.
Let's see if that works.
Yes, you are now known as Scott Wilkinsonian.
Okay. Well, I just did that. And so here I am. The Wilkinsonian. Anyway, yeah, I was just talking about somebody who just played trumpet at the Renaissance Fair. Anyway, I would object to playing modern trumpet at the Renaissance Fair only because there were no modern trumpets in the Renaissance. Now a natural trumpet,
a sackbut, but of course.
But of course, I played sackbut in the Queen's Own Band. And that was loads of fun. Jojo Dancer asks, how much is the LG C2? The 65-inch is $2,500, and the 77-inch is $3,500.
Such a good deal.
Yeah, really good deal.
Go run and get one. Thank you, Scotty.
My pleasure.
Have a wonderful... Week. No, you said you're going to have a regular show this week.
No.
This week off, and then you were going to record the show, and it'll come out the week after.
Well, a couple days after.
A couple of days after. Perfect.
That's it.
Thank you, sir. Well, hey, how are you today? Leo Laporte here, the tech guy. Time to talk computers and the internet and home theater and digital photography and smartphones and smartwatches and anything with a chip in it. 8888 Ask Leo, the phone number. 888-827-5536. Toll free anywhere in the U.S. or Canada outside that area. Skype will do. Skype out will do. And it should still be free. Should still be free. Website, techguylabs.com, techguylabs.com, and that's where you'll find links to anything we talk about on the show, plus including, we'll put a link in there to the LG OLED that Scott just recommended. And you'll also find transcript of the show and all sorts of stuff after the fact, including the audio and the video. Bob on the line from Quincy, Washington. Bob's next. Hi, Bob.
Hello, Leo Laporte. How are you, sir?
I am great. How are you?
I'm excellent. So after about 33 years in the radio business, that uniquely qualified me to get into the luxury golf cart business.
Well, I'm glad to know there's a future for me. That's good to know.
Yes, you can build luxury golf carts.
Luxury. Now, what is a luxury golf cart?
All right. So there are anywhere from about $15,000 to $20,000, and they have every accessory and option and paint, and they're just really cool. You can go on my website and see them. Shameless.
Plug away. What's the website?
It's BOYDREC.com.
BoydRec.com. BoydRec.com. Makers of luxury golf carts. Now, usually when you go to a golf course, I don't play golf, but when you go to a golf course, don't they have the golf carts there already?
Well, you know what? I don't play golf either, but and I survived 33 years in radio.
Yeah, how did you do that? No wonder you're out of radio. All the executives, that's all they do all day, play golf. Oh, look at this.
I was one of them.
This is very cool. I want one of these. So how do you get it to the course? The course must buy it, right?
Well, no. So what happens is the courses use real basic carts, and that's what you get when you play around the golf. But at luxury resort communities, which are popping up.
Oh, of course. That's what it is.
That's what they get around. Yep.
Yeah, because I'll drive the golf cart from my house to the course. Here's like the club car off-road Pacific Blue. Oh, all of these are expired. I want to buy one just to drive around town.
Oh, my God, my links are expired.
Yeah, you better get going here. I do like the one on the front page, though. That's cool. Very nice.
Yeah, that one is beautiful.
Do you have any with a built-in bar?
Well, I've got one with a built-in cooler, so that's good. But if you wanted one with a built-in bar, I would build it for you, my friend.
Because then maybe I'd take up golf. So what can I do for you, Bob?
Well, unfortunately, I spend about 2 hours a day on the computer ordering stuff and doing all my books and all that. And I've got one of those HP all-in-ones. It's a 2017 that I picked up at Costco.
Yeah.
And it will not allow me to log in anymore, and it gives me a CMOS, C-M-O-S error. Mm-hmm. So I checked online. They said, well, replace the little 2032 battery cell.
A little lithium battery in there, yeah.
Exactly. So I did that, and it did absolutely nothing different.
Oh.
So all my data, which is not backed up, save the lecture.
Well, the hard drive's fine. Here's the good news. So the CMOS, the complementary metal oxide silicon, is a part of memory that is, well, it's semi-volatile. You know, your RAM, when you turn off the machine, goes away. That's why you have to save stuff to a hard drive. Everything that you're working on, all the programs you're running, they live on the hard drive, which lives in between boots, but the RAM is cleared out each time. Well, there's something kind of in between called the CMOS. It needs to have a battery to keep it going, but that's where settings are kept on the machine so that it knows what kind of hard drive you have, how much memory, what the day and date is, things like that. There's stuff you want to persist, and you don't store on the hard drive. So if it dies, usually it's just because the battery died. And how old is that HP?
2017, so it's about 5 years.
It's not that old. So it's possible the battery died. It sounds like since you replaced the battery, and you sure you put it in right and all that?
Yes.
It sounds like it might be there's a larger problem. You know, if that it's a chip, the CMOS chip. If that for some reason got fried, then you wouldn't be able to see it. Now, that doesn't mean anything's wrong with your hard drive. You could take the hard drive out, put it on another machine, it'd all be there. So you haven't lost anything. All you've lost is your CMOS settings, but it can't boot without those, right? Right. There's a couple of things you might try before you give up on this. See if you could download the manual for this thing from HP. Sometimes those motherboards, and I don't even know if you have access to the motherboard in an all-in-one, but if you can see it, have jumpers that you can remove to reset the CMOS and replace. Sometimes that'll do it. If you can get into BIOS, can you get into the setup, you know, when you tap F1 or escape or delete? Can you get into that?
Yeah, I get into BIOS with the F10.
Good.
That allows me to mess around, but I reset everything to factory settings, and it still wouldn't work.
It still wouldn't work.
It shows the screen. It shows the startup screen, but it won't allow you to hit enter and then enter your password. So
it shows the startup screen for Windows?
Not really Windows.
It says HP on it.
Yeah, it does a little HP dance, and then it pops up with just like a screensaver picture. That's as far as you can go.
That may be, in fact, that CMOS died, but something else died at the same time in a kind of coincidental mass suicide. So, you might have trouble with your hard drive, which case your data may be at risk. I don't know. There's one setting you might look for in your setup. Clear ESCD, that's the enhanced or extended system configuration data. And this goes, I don't think it's old enough to have ESCD, but it's worth checking. It's one more thing to reset, in effect, in that BIOS. But you reset everything else, which is kind of interesting. I'm worried that, does the time when you go into BIOS and it shows the date and time, is that accurate?
Yes, I checked that. It is.
Okay, so that means that the battery that you replaced works, because that's how it's remembering that, is with the CMOS. So the fact that you can see the time and date and it's accurate in between boots, like turn it all the way off, turn it on again, and the time and date are correct, that means the CMOS is working. So now I'm a little nervous. When you boot up, does it show your hard drive? You may not see this.
No.
HP likes to hide these things. And if you're seeing the HP splash screen, if you hit escape, it should take it off the screen. What you want to see is part of the boot sequence on a PC shows what hardware is attached. And you want to make sure it can see the hard drive. Now, when you say no, it may be because it's being hidden, not that it's not being seen.
Right. I think that's it.
Yeah.
I think that's
so
it.
You could also go into BIOS and say, don't do all that. I want, what you want to turn on is all the diagnostics. So the slow boot. Because normally you don't want that because it checks memory, checks all this stuff, and it's so slow. This time you do.
Okay.
Yeah, you want it to see all of this stuff. And then one hopes that it's going to see the drive. Somebody's saying it might not be a bad idea. Also, unplug the machine and just give it a complete, restart.
No, I did that.
Okay, good.
I've done that half a dozen times. I've got about 5 or 6 hours wrestling with this thing, and it's winning.
I'm thinking it would be a weird coincidence, but weirder things have happened, that the hard drive died roughly the same time. Or maybe the CMOS error was specious. A lot of times the errors you get from computers are not really what's going on. The computer's just trying its best to figure it out, and it made a mistake. So it may not have been a CMOS at all. Burke says, this has happened to me all the time. So, Burke, what should he do? Burke's our engineer here who fixes things.
I used to have one of those.
I know. Radio stations have to have. There's that guy right in the back in the engineering room. He's got the soldering iron. He's got wires. He's got little magnifying glasses on his spectacles. Yeah, that guy. That's Burke. He says, I don't know what was wrong.
It's dark in there, too.
It's dark.
They always have donuts.
They don't. Yeah, they always have donuts. They may be a little stale, but if you've got a craving. It's funny. When I started in radio, the dream for most everybody working in radio was someday to own their own radio station.
I did it.
Yeah. And now?
I did it.
And now you're making golf carts.
Reno, Nevada.
Why? What happened? Did it not? Did you not like it? Was it too much work?
No, none of that. We just couldn't make it. Couldn't get the revenue to go.
Radio's hard. So in effect,
harder than it used to be.
I own a radio station without a transmitter tower or license because it's a podcast network and we got a bunch of shows. And so I kind of feel like I'm living that dream as well. And I can't wait to make custom golf carts in retirement.
Well, you are a legend, my friend. That set of pipes you have is amazing.
Thank you.
I can see through all the compression and the fancy microphones, and I know what an incredible talent you are.
You're very kind. It's an honor and a privilege to meet you, Bob. Boydrec, BOYDREC.com. I want the big speakers on my golf cart. That's a Rodney Dangerfield move, though, right? To have a boom box on your golf cart.
You gotta be a little.
Here I come. Watch out. Playing through.
You got to be aware.
Those are big speakers. I love the wheels, though. These are neat. You may have a problem with the hard drive. So at this point, I would say the thing I would do if I were, there, or if you had Burke, would be to take the hard drive out of that all-in-one. Can you access it easily? Sometimes all-in-ones, this stuff's buried. You can.
No, the back pops right off.
Good.
You can access the whole thing.
Thank you, HB. So pop out that drive and put it in another machine. You can go on a newer tech and buy for $50 a little adapter that takes any drive, turns it into a USB drive. You want to check that drive because that's what's getting stuck. And check that. You can bring it to a savvy tech repair guy. If your old chief is around, bring it to him, and see if he can bang on it.
Tom Pearson and Cairo Radio. I got to go look him up.
God bless him. You got to have that first ticket guy in there, man. That guy's going to keep you alive. Hey, it's a real pleasure to meet another radio. I love radio. I love the medium. It really is a great medium, and I've been doing it a little longer than you, believe it or not. 46 years now.
Gosh, you have, yeah.
Holy cow!
Yeah, I started back in the early '80s.
Holy cow! Am I nuts? Am I nuts?
No, you're an amazing talent. Just keep working. Don't get on the revenue side. You got nothing to worry about.
I hope we can. I hope it helps a little bit, Bob. I know I haven't really solved anything, but that's. I think at this point, all you can do is see if the hard drive has failed because what you did fixed the CMOS. So,
okay.
And I know you did because the time's correct.
Mm-hmm. Well, I think the adapter is the right idea.
Get the adapter and see what you can see. Yeah, because that's where your data is. And next time, back it up. 8888S, Leo. I had to sneak in. And it just a little nudge. Nobody should feel guilty. Just do it. Leo Laporte, the tech guy. I love these golf carts. Now you make me want to play golf, Bob. This is
I'll ship you one.
No.
Where do you play up in Seattle? What's your network up in Seattle? Because you were never on Cairo or Como. I worked at both of those, and for 22 years.
The problem with affiliate relations. First of all, I don't. They don't tell me. I think we were on King for a while. The sisters, right?
Yeah, 1090.
Yeah, the sisters.
The Bullet sisters.
The Bullet sisters.
Gone.
They're long gone. And then I feel like we might have been on Cairo for a bit. Usually we're on the Clear Channel stations because it's Premiere. But it's not.
Oh, that's right.
It's not always. Like we're in San Francisco, we're on a Cumulus station. So go figure. I just don't know. And as you probably know, maybe you don't because business has changed a lot, but weekend radio has become pretty much brokered. So it's harder and harder to put a regular radio show on the weekends because they broker the whole thing, which means they sell it to the vitamin company or
we made a fortune doing that.
Yeah, well, exactly. That's why
there's no more money.
You
left
have to.
Business. That's the problem.
You have to. I'm sad to say, and so that's how most radio stations are surviving is brokering their weekends. But that means there's no room for the tech guy, the poor old tech guy. So,
Seattle was a $250 million radio market. Today, it's about $50 million.
Isn't that sad?
That's why I got out.
Well,
I just couldn't take the stress was unbelievable. I
feel very fortunate that in 2005 we started doing podcasts, and that's been it's been an $8 to $10 million a year business, and it's pretty solid. Ad supported. Yeah. So, I mean, we plow most of it back into the stuff, but, you know, we take a little bit out. But so it's been successful. It's like owning a small radio station, really. Yeah. But without the headwinds of radio.
Yeah.
Because we're heard globally.
Thank you for not taking goofy sponsors like George Norrie does. Good Lord, he sold the damn thing out.
Well, I don't think Premier likes me too much because I say no a lot more than I say yes.
Good for you. Have the integrity. How much longer are you going to do it?
Not much longer. I'm tired. I miss my weekends. I want to play golf.
Yeah. Are you working during the week? Are you doing a shift?
Yeah. No. I do the radio show on the weekends, but I have 5 other podcasts that I do. So I do a podcast Sunday after the radio show, and then Tuesday, Wednesday, I do 2 shows each. So I'm basically working like a 5-day-a-week radio gig in 4 days.
Jeez.
Well, no, it's fine. I don't mind doing that. I like doing it. But, you know, I'm 65. I think at some point I want to see the world. I want to join the Merchant Marine and see the world.
Yeah. That's what we cruise 6 months a year all over the world.
Oh, I'm so jealous. That's what I want to do.
Yeah.
That's what I want to do. What cruise line what line do you like?
NCL mostly, and Royal secondly.
Yeah,
see, if you want a quieter experience than Holland.
We're going on Holland to Alaska with the fans in July, and I have 113 days on Holland America, but
oh my, I
know, yeah, no, but I honestly these days we do Silver Sea because we want a little smaller boat, a little more luxurious, but I couldn't afford 6 months a year.
Well, that's how we do it. Is we average about $500 a week per person for the two.
Oh my God!
2 of us.
Oh, these are like $1,500 a day. These are crazy.
Oh man, yeah,
crazy.
You can't roll like that. Radio wasn't that good.
Yeah, no, these are. but then I'm spoiled though. That's the problem.
Oh, I get it. Yeah, you'll find everything wrong with an NCL or a Royal when you get on.
Yeah, I've been on NCL. We did Royal Caribbean with a kid because it had bumper cars and stuff, but it was so big. It was 5,500 people. It was crazy. So the nice thing about Silver Sea, it's about 300 or 400 people on a boat. That's great. We're going to do a couple more river. River's nice. We do a lot of river cruising.
Do you really?
Yeah.
We like the bigger the boat, the better.
Oh, interesting. Because you like more stuff.
Yeah, we like the entertainment.
Oh, yeah, I got to go on the air. You're right. Thank you. Our show today brought to you by IT Pro TV. I know these guys well, and I'm big fan. I've been with IT Pro TV. They've been with us since they started some years ago. Always, I think, the place to go for IT training. If you want to get in the business, the IT business, you may already have everything you need, all the skills you need. You know you're good, right? You listen to this show, you're probably a total tech enthusiast. It's still hard to get that first job. That's why there's a certification program. The idea is you take a test. If you pass the test, your future employer knows you have the skills to do the job. And of course, the one most people start with for desktop support is the A+ cert. In fact, all the CompTIA certs are really good certs to get a job in IT. If you're looking to get into IT, you got to find an IT training platform that is up to date, has the most certs that can help you figure out what kind of IT you're into, and makes it fun and easy to get that training. And that is absolutely IT Pro TV. It's the reason they exist. They're fantastic. 7 studios running Monday through Friday all day with their fabulous entertainers who are edutainers is what they call them because they're experts in the field. That's the first prerequisite. But they also care about it. They're passionate. They love it. And that passion comes through making it more interesting, more fun. They love what they're doing, and you will love watching them and learning from them and then doing it yourself. All the courses go from their live studios to the library within 24 hours, so they're always up to date, and you have to be because software changes, the tests change, the concepts are up to date, and so is IT Pro TV. 5,800 hours of on-demand programming. There are full transcripts for everything. They divided everything up into 20 to 30-minute segments, so it's very easy to watch, consume. You can jump to the part you need. Just take one of the videos or take the whole course. They've just released a new course, CompTIA's A+. Remember that I mentioned that was the kind of basic certificate for desktop support. Core 1 and Core 2 series. It's designed for professionals who support today's core technologies, from security to networking to virtualization and more. In fact, if you study for this exam, if you take these classes, you will be really ready to get that first job in IT. And if you haven't done this yet and you're already in IT, I strongly suggest it fills in the gaps, right, in your knowledge. CompTIA's A+ certification is the industry standard for launching IT careers in today's digital world. You'll learn about hardware, operating systems, networking, security, troubleshooting. You'll come out of it an expert, ready to tackle any problem on the job. IT Pro TV is really the place to get any IT training. You can learn and get certified on your own schedule. So if you have a day job right now and you want to train to get a new job in IT, this is a great way to do it. May is ramping up for summer, so is IT Pro TV. Their free Azure weekend is next weekend, May 14th and 15th. How exciting. Head to their website, free courses, and a great introduction to your next IT career. There also will be 2 free webinars this month for you to check out. They just did one called What is Azure Bicep? I'd like to know myself, with Adam Gordon, Wes Bryan. That's on demand right now. I think they did it earlier this week. Coming up May 19th, 2 p.m. Eastern. It's nice to be there live because you can ask questions. All things cybersecurity. That's with Daniel Lowry and John Hammond. They do these webinars as a great way to introduce you to new concepts, new topics, because even if you get that job in IT, even when you're working in IT, you've got to always expand, right? Learn new skills, which helps you get a better job or, get promotion at your existing job. Both of these webinars will be available on demand to watch if you can't make it to the May 19th, 2 p.m. Eastern Time. Don't forget about your IT team. IT Pro TV has great business plans too. Visit itpro.tv/twit for an additional 30% off all consumer subscriptions for the lifetime of your active subscription when you use the code TWIT30, TWIT30. Again, itpro.tv/twit. Offer code TWIT30, an additional 30% off the lifetime of your active subscription. IT Pro TV. Build or expand your IT career and enjoy the journey. itpro.tv/twit. Please use that address so they know you saw it here. It really helps us. And thank you, IT Pro TV. You really help the tech guy, both with the knowledge and the ad support. itpro.tv/twit. Now back to the tech guy. Oh, the great Billy Joel. Is he still the house band at the Madison Square Garden? Did he come back to do those things? He used to do 50 or 60 shows a year at Madison Square Garden. Leo Laporte, the tech guy. Now that's working. Sam on the line from Winston-Salem, North Carolina. Hello, Sam.
Hey, Leo. I just got a crazy question. Is there a limit on IoT devices that you can put onto a network?
If there is, I haven't hit it, and I have 80 of them.
I got 400.
Well, that's a lot. What are you doing? Does each plant in your house have its own monitor? What are you doing?
No, I've had to upgrade my routers because they keep on dropping the devices.
Yeah.
I had a Nighthawk, then I upgraded to a ASUS. Then I finally just bit the bullet and did like you and Woody's system.
Yeah.
And I got a Dream Machine, got 6 access points around the property and 13 switches and a few other things. But, that's a nice
setup.
Yeah, but like I said, some devices keep dropping and I don't understand why.
I don't think Ubiquiti should tell you if there's a limit. But since you have 6 access points, there probably is a limit per access point. 250 per access point. But you have so many access points, you're probably not hitting the limit there. Here's what I would look at. This is what I've done with my network. And one of the things about the Ubiquiti system you have that's great is it makes it easy to create virtual LANs. And I've already got one. I built one just with 2.5
perfect for the camera.
Yeah.
I got one just
yeah. Okay, you're ahead of me.
One just for all the devices.
Yeah. So that's what I did. I made an IoT LAN. It was only 2.4 gigahertz. because a lot of IoT devices don't do 5, and they work better on 2.4. 2.4 has a better range as well. So for cameras that are on the outside of the house, things like that, 2.4 is better. And also you have the advantage of, by using a virtual network, separating them from the more secure network with your computers on it. You don't want anybody to get in through a plant watering device into your home network, so you can isolate those.
Right.
But you're already doing that.
Well, see, I've got like 7 vacuums. I've got 3 lights.
When do the vacuums work? Do they work in the middle of the night?
No, they work during the day.
While you're out,
and I've got them.
You're out and about. Okay.
Yeah, but I mean, I've got different buildings on my property, so and each one has different floors. So I've got them in different floors, different areas.
So are the devices that are dropping, are they in separate buildings from the Dream machine?
Yes, they are.
Yeah. And how do you get the access points? Are the access points wired?
All of them are wired except for one. I've got one in my pond, and it is not wired to the pond. But there is, I've got Cat 5s in most of them, Cat 6 to the rest of them, and all of them wired up to other ubiquity switches between 5-port and 8-port, and I got ports.
You should make sure you got a hell of a network here. You should make sure that you're not using a net mask that's too small, because you could if you were 255.255.255.0. That's only 256, actually 255 devices, because you have one for the router. So make sure your net mask is not 255.255.255. Try 252 on the third number. Give you more devices. Right. That would be one limit. But since you have a segmented LAN, I think that's going to solve that problem. Boy, that's interesting.
And they're random. My Google Voice, my Google speakers I've got set up.
What you need to do is map your network. Get a something like Fring that will let you map all the signal strengths all over the network. Leo Laporte, the tech guy. Yeah, because I think that you need to actually kind of see what's going on, and so there are devices.
The topography, whatever it was, and yes, and I've also went to drawn out. I did the map through Ubiquity for each building.
Oh, good.
And where the signals were.
Oh, good.
And everything has a good signal. Everything is set. Even across the road, I've got wiring across the road. And everything over there is fine. Everything all over is good. It's just it's like my Google speakers, the Nest speakers, they will just stop working. Or they actually sound like they're broken records, and they'll on, off, and then cut off.
Yeah. So you wouldn't be able to get an IP address at all if you didn't have a big enough range. So that's not the problem, because they all are working sometimes. So they're all getting an IP address.
Yeah.
It's just
I can get everything to work. If I reconnect everything will work right now. And then tonight, tomorrow, sometime, 1 or 2 of the devices won't work anymore. And I've got to either, like my lights, I have to turn them off, count to 15, turn the light back on,
that's interesting.
And reconnect.
That's interesting.
I've contacted Ubiquity, and I've contacted a couple of different companies.
I wish their support were better. I'm afraid their support isn't all that good. Yeah.
It's not.
Go on Reddit. Have you gone on Reddit? Go to the Ubiquity forum on Reddit and ask there, because honestly, a lot of times we have to support ourselves, right? We have to do our own support,
right?
And other users are often the best. I don't know if Reddit has a Ubiquity forum or just a networking forum. Let me see.
I've been on Ubiquity and done their forum.
Their forums
and gotten some. I got some help, but most of them tell me that it's the devices I'm using. I don't know.
Go to /r/Ubiquity and ask there. This is the place that I always go. This is where everybody's bitching about bad firmware and stuff, and so that'll give you some idea. I think if you mention this, they're more likely to have some experience with it. There's all sorts of things that can be going wrong that I don't know about. That might be limitations of the Ubiquity. You shouldn't be flapping like that. That's it sounds like you're in a rural area. You're not getting interference from neighbors or anything?
Oh, no. My closest neighbor is probably about half a mile away.
Yeah, so it's definitely not that.
No, I've got 2.5 acres of land right around me that is all open, and I've got outdoor access points all over to control where I got signal all over my property.
Yeah. And how many segments do you have? It sounds like you have more than 2. You have like several VLANs, right?
Yeah, I think I got like 6 total.
Yeah. This is way beyond my expertise. It shouldn't be happening. I feel like with the ubiquity and 6 access points, you're in good shape, but you do have an awful lot of devices. So this would be a good one to go to /r/ubiquity on Reddit, I think.
See, I've got WAV cameras, and I've got WAV cameras, and I got.
So those cameras, Wise not so much, but any camera that's sending all the time, they use a lot of bandwidth, but it shouldn't knock something off. It should not knock something off, and you're not seeing any reports in your Ubiquity dashboard of, because it'll show you, it'll say where the usage is problematic and so forth. Right. I think this is, you're not going to get much support from Ubiquity, so try to get some support from the community. Reddit.com/r/Ubiquity. They love stuff like this. They'll dig into it. But give them a very complete summary of what's going on. I think they'd be very useful. Good luck. I'll be watching the posts and see what they say. Yes, we are here. But you know who's not here? Johnny Jett, our travel guy, normally occupies this slot. Johnny's taking the day off, probably going somewhere, doing something fun. He'll be back next week. Meanwhile, that means, good news, I got more time for you. Micah in Maine, our railroad enthusiast, is back. Wait a minute, it was ocean liners, I think it was, yes?
Well, I kind of like ocean liners, but as you know, I'm far more into airplanes. In fact, as I'm talking to you, I'm writing an article on the Boeing 707, but that's another story.
Yeah, we talked about that last week. The Airplane Guy podcast, yes?
Airplane Geeks.
Geeks. Always get it wrong.
Airplane Geeks podcast.
Airplane Geeks.
But it's okay that you get it confused because I'm also involved with my good friends, another podcast, the Airline Pilot Guy. And both the Airplane Geeks and the Airline Pilot Guy listens to you.
Hello. I'll be taking an airplane soon. I'm so excited. I haven't been on one in quite some time. It's going to be fun. And I don't have to wear masks anymore, although I will be.
Definitely wear a mask. The numbers are going back up.
I know, I will be.
We have the highest numbers in the country right now. And, and it's not that bad wearing a mask. I flew to London back in February, and I took a circuitous route. I flew from Portland to San Francisco first, and then San Francisco to London.
How crazy is that?
I wanted to meet a friend, and we were both flying in first class, and we were originally supposed to meet in Chicago. The flights got a little fouled up, so...
Sometimes I wish those... when you're flying up front, I wish those flights were longer. Can I have a couple more meals?
Exactly. Rather than sit in Chicago in O'Hare for 6 hours, why don't I sit in first class?
Just sit up front. Yeah.
Great.
So what can I do for you today, Micah?
Well, I got an email from the evil monopoly Spectrum telling me that
there's only one thing worse, as we now know, the evil monopoly Frontier. Okay, but Spectrum, yes, okay. Mm-hmm.
Well, they told me they raised my internet speed to 200 megabytes per second down. It would still be 10 up, so I did an internet speed test, and sure enough, I was getting 50 megabytes down. So I called, and they sent out a tech, and I knew it wasn't me, although I didn't think it was me. And he tested it directly from my modem, as I did as well. And, I was getting 200 megabytes from my modem, but I was getting it from my router. And I have a Netgear Nighthawk R700P router, and can't figure it out. It's reasonably new. And he said, get a new router. So I ordered one, but then I did some searching. And I found a setting on the router all over the internet called Dynamic QoS.
Yes.
And I turned it off.
Yes.
My speed shot up to 250 megabytes.
So QoS, quality of service, is in theory a good thing. The idea being you'll get quality of service. It's prioritizing some packets over others. So when you're playing a game, you don't want all the packets to go to the email or to the web. You want them to go to the game. If you're doing a Skype call or video call, you want the packets to be prioritized there. So QoS is usually used to prioritize packets for stuff that's sensitive to packet loss, packet dropping, slow speed. Sounds like it was prioritizing something you don't care about. I don't know what. The lawnmower, I don't know. And everything else was slow.
Yes, and I couldn't find a whole lot about it or what it was. And even Netgear says if you have speeds over 300 megabytes per second, turn it off.
Oh, interesting.
I read said,
that's interesting.
Turn off dynamic QoS, and as soon as I did, the speeds jumped. And it's just a good thing I found.
That's a good tip. Yeah.
Yeah, and I thought you'd want to know to listen to tell your listeners because
by the way, even Netgear says if you use a gigabit internet connection or anything above 300 megabits, you don't need to use QoS. So, so I guess the way I would understand this is your router is a computer. It's not a very smart computer. It's not a very fast computer. And maybe having it do things like resolve traffic congestion is actually going to end up slowing everything down because you're asking it to think harder, to do more. I think that's a really good tip. And anybody listening who has a Nighthawk, actually many routers have QoS settings. That's a good thing to try. And you're right. If you'd called and said, why is it slow? I would not have said, turn off QoS. That's not the first thing I would have thought of. So that's because it's supposed to be the opposite, right?
Yeah. I mean, it's supposed to speed things up, but it obviously didn't, as soon as I turned it off, sent the route, didn't even open up the new router, sent it right back. Everything's great.
So a lot of times the QoS setting is not dynamic, and I think that might be the problem with the Nighthawks. You would say, I prioritize this kind of traffic. I want QoS on Skype, or I want QoS on my games, and you wouldn't let the router decide. It sounds like the router here is not deciding properly.
Yeah. Now, I have another quick question for you, because as I was in the router settings, I was looking at all my attached devices, and I could identify all of them but one. And can't quite figure it out. Now, I blocked internet access to it so that way, that way I might notice what it is, but I haven't noticed anything yet.
What does it identify as?
It says 0, an unknown. And
can you see the MAC address? Because that would help you.
Yes. I looked at the MAC address, and I looked it up, and the first 4 or 5 digits say that it's a TP-Link something.
Okay, good. Yeah, the MAC address, which every device in the world is supposed to have a unique MAC address. The MAC address has in the beginning, the first few digits, the manufacturer. So you were able to figure out the manufacturer, TP-Link.
Yeah, I think that's what it is. It's EC:08.
Do you have a TP-Link hardware anywhere?
No, the only TP-Link device I have is my modem, and it's a different MAC address. So, and the modem wouldn't show up on the router anyway that I can figure out.
It's not unusual. For instance, when I look at my Ubiquiti, I try to assign names to everything, real names, so I know, that's Lisa's computer, that's my computer, that kind of thing. But it's not unusual to see when you do this, some surprising things show up on your Wi-Fi. My TiVos, for instance, have a Wi-Fi access point built in for some reason. So it's not unusual to see maybe even a single device with 2 MAC addresses and 2 connections.
Now, obviously, I have good password on there, and I'm locked down and everything. And I blocked the internet access to it. Should I be concerned?
Probably not. No. I don't think so. As long as you have a password on your Wi-Fi, nobody's able to use it. And that's the point. Is this is something that you own? May even be another device that has TP-Link hardware built into it, like a TiVo, for instance, that is showing up. It wouldn't have been able to get on your network if it's password protected, if it didn't have real access. So it could very well be that you have a device that has joined twice, and you just didn't know about the second one. I wouldn't worry about it. Yeah.
Okay. If you say not to worry, Leo, I'm not going to worry.
I wouldn't worry. Somebody's saying that Wi-Fi AP on the TiVos for TiVo to TiVo transfer, something I never do, and it annoys me because I I don't want my TiVo to be establishing a Wi-Fi network in my house without any good reason. So yeah, it just happens. It's almost certainly your TP-Link router is connecting. It's connected via Ethernet, obviously, right? Because it's a router. But it's also
connected via Ethernet, and that's
It's also establishing, it's getting on the network twice in effect. And I think that's nothing to worry about. It's interesting you were able to disable it and nothing went wrong.
Yeah, should I continue to leave it blocked from the internet?
No, I would not. I would put it back on.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's what I'm going to do.
Good question, Micah. Yeah, thank you. I appreciate it. And thank you for encouraging me last week to show pictures. Did you see some of the pictures I showed of the old Queen Mary in the United States? Yeah, it was fun. Yeah.
Yeah, thank you so much for that. I really appreciate it.
Real pleasure. Thanks, Mike.
And I'm glad I could be. It's a real honor to be able to be on when Johnny's not here because I really respect Johnny. We correspond back and forth. I've written some articles for him. So
nice.
Boy, to come on at the same time he would be, what an honor.
Yeah,
for him.
you were the travel guy this segment. Leo Laporte, the tech guy. That's kind of funny. I didn't even think of that. Micah will do our travel segment today.
And frankly, I was going to say, now that we're off the air, if Johnny can't make it sometime and you want somebody to fill in on travel,
Delio.
I'd be happy to do that.
Delio, I didn't even think of that.
I've got the mic. I could, I've got a connection. I could certainly do that for you.
Let me put you on hold, and I'm going to have Kim get contact information so that if Johnny doesn't make it, I can email you.
Johnny, I could never replace Johnny, but if he would be comfortable with me filling in for him, I'd be happy to.
I'd be comfortable with it. That's great. Yeah. Hang on the line. I will we'll get your contact info. He doesn't miss that often, but because of travel and stuff, it'd be good to have somebody to back him up, and you'd be great. So hang on, Micah. I'm going to put you on hold and go ahead, Kim, and get his info. That's great. Nice. That's nice. Oh, and yeah. Micah Sargent will can probably handle that. Leo Laporte, the tech guy. 88. Ask Leo. Michael. I had Micah on the line. Michael is on the line from Torrance, California. Hi, Michael.
Dr. Leo.
Nurse Michael. I don't know. What should I call you? Should I?
No, we're Doctors in Nerddom.
Doctors in Nerddom. Hello, my fellow doctor, Mr. Michael.
You've been speaking my language with the last few callers. Talk about QoS.
Yeah.
And NetMask and IP addresses.
Now that you mention it, we're getting a little nerdy in here. Yeah.
Well, it is, and it's kind of cool. But the last caller, I think, was talking about QoS on his local router.
Yeah, I think he had a Nighthawk router that was overambitious. It struck me after I let him go that maybe the QoS was saying, well, whatever you're doing with this speed test, you don't need all those packets, so I'm going to cut you off. It could have actually been doing its job and saying, no, we've got more important things to do with that speed test.
And QoS, well, if you've got a Cisco rack mount, work.
Yeah, well, no, if you have a fancy, like a real system, but even then, you probably don't do automatic QoS. You tell it what to prioritize, which ports and things.
That's correct.
Yeah.
You got to program it and then it up memory.
I think that's the problem, is that this little Nighthawk with this little tiny pea brain was not really capable of doing dynamic QoS,
Was he the one that was having problems with multiple devices?
No, that was another networking issue.
Okay, so that was the one I was going to say.
400 IoT devices, including 8 vacuums. on his Ubiquity network. That's pretty impressive.
Did he want his own IP addresses or
static? Are you saying static IP addresses? Yeah.
No, like a CIDR block or something like that, a classless internet domain.
I don't think 400 he needed a CIDR block. He should have an. We're running out of IP addresses. Let's not waste them here.
Well, that's why they went to CIDR in 1990.
I know. No, in fact, he could have his own because it's internal and it doesn't occupy any space in the public network.
Use ARP. address resolution protocol to figure out the devices on the network.
It's not as fancy as your Cisco rack-mounted doohickey.
I don't have a Cisco rack here.
But he has a fairly nice system, one that I have at home as well. It's kind of a prosumer system from Ubiquiti that should handle, especially since he's got them segmented, that should easily handle all of that. I'm not sure what's going on. But, after all, radio frequency is voodoo. It's all sorts of things can screw with it.
Well, I just like to randomly do an ARP-A.
Got to watch out for ARP caching and ARP poisoning, though, my friend.
Well, yeah, that's true, too.
Somebody called some time ago and said, "Can you explain how an ARP poisoning attack works?" And I said, "No." I said, "No, I won't."
It's very, very complex.
I refuse to take valuable airtime explaining ARP poisoning. But we do on our security show, as you know. Steve Gibson is an expert in ARP.
Oh,
yeah. So
I just got geeked out on hold.
So, well, I'm glad. I'm glad you enjoyed it. I'm glad. Yeah. Now, you were going to ask something about the Windows Insider program. Speaking of geeks.
Well, yeah, the first thing I was going to criticize you. I hate to criticize you, but...
no, you must, because how am I going to get better?
Well, you were talking about Strange New Worlds and SNW.
Yes.
As an acronym.
For the new Star Trek series, yes.
Yeah. SNW is not an acronym.
It's not?
No.
An acronym has to be, what, pronounceable?
Correct. Like scuba.
But I can pronounce snoo.
Yeah, you can say snoo. But how do you,
Okay, so what do you call it if it's just an abbreviation that's not pronounceable?
It's an abbreviation.
Oh, all right. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, I stand corrected.
And Scott Wilkinson will have a ball in Casa de Fruta because I...
Oh, yeah. Yeah, Casa de Fruta, yeah.
He doesn't have to worry about any, slabs around there or pads or homes. It's in the middle of nowhere, and it's a spectacular little place.
Nice.
Locomotive train, wine tasting.
Yeah. Yeah, I feel like I've whizzed past it on the I-5.
Yeah, if you're to the 5. Yeah. Through Gilroy and to,
the beautiful Casa. I was very disappointed. I wanted to take my my lovely wife to the Giant Artichoke restaurant, and they were closed. So apparently the COVID has even affected the Giant Artichokes. But the Giant Artichoke was there, and she did pose for a picture with the Giant Artichoke, so that's okay.
Well, there you go.
And this just in, it's called an initialism. It's an initialism. If it's not pronounceable, if it's pronounceable according to the pedants in the chat room, if it's pronounceable, it's an acronym. Otherwise, it's an initialism. Thank you, Michael. Time for one more. JT Irvine, California. Hi, JT.
Hey, Leo. How are you, man?
I am well. How are you?
Yeah, doing well. Thank you. Long-time listener, third-time caller.
Welcome.
Talk to you.
Thank you.
Nice
to have you. What can I do for you?
Yeah, so just a quick question regarding, first, would you recommend buying used MacBooks? And my primary concern is the budget. But I am a Mac person. I am in the Apple ecosystem. I love using Macs. I've always for the past, I would say almost a decade, always been a Mac person.
If, used is fine as long as the source is good. It's somebody or, Apple sells refurbished Macintosh gear, and that's certainly trustworthy because it's Apple, and they, of course, don't, as a result, discount it by very much. So you're not going to save. You're going to save a couple $100 maybe, but that's probably the preferred place to get it. But if it's a refurbisher you trust, or you're buying it from a party that you know and trust, just remember when you buy a used computer, you're buying the problems that the guy who owned that computer had, and so you need to trust.
Would you recommend buying from a place like eBay where the seller has decent reviews and they say that it's they describe it?
You're taking your chances, but again, probably it is a good time to buy used Macs because there are a lot of Intel Macs that people are getting rid of, even late model Intel Macs, because they're ready to. They want to get the new chips, the M1 chip, and Apple is probably going to announce the M2 in just a few weeks, about a month, at the Worldwide Developers Conference, which means you may see a bunch of M1s come on the marketplace as people say, "Oh, I got to get the newest, latest, and greatest thing." So maybe, for instance, the predictions are there'll be a new MacBook Air in June. Then you might look at a MacBook Air M1, the first generation, which is going to be 2 years old now. And those are solid state. There's not much that can go wrong with those. There's no moving parts.
Yeah, that makes sense. So yeah, I might actually then wait till WWDC.
What I would be careful with, or just be aware of, with the M1s is there isn't much difference in speed between the lowest end M1, the MacBook Air, and the highest M1, the Mac Studio Ultra, because the single core clock speed's the same across the board. So for most of what we do day in, day out, it's going to be, the MacBook Air is going to save you a huge amount of money, thousands of dollars, and be just as fast. So I wouldn't hesitate in getting a MacBook Air if price is a consideration. Right now, and brand new one's $950. So, you know.
Yeah. Cool. All right, I'll then. It's happening in June, you said, right? So next month.
June, I think June 10th, June 7th. Yeah, next month, WWDC. Okay. It is expected Apple will announce a bunch of new hardware at that time. They may even announce the M2 chip. Here's the going to be the dirty little secret in the M2. It's only about 10 or 20% faster than the M1. So the M1 is still a very good thing to buy. Leo Laporte, the tech guy. All right. I've got these lovely, thank you, Burke. I guess you really didn't want them because you left them on the front desk. So I thought, well, if you don't want them, I'll take them. I just didn't want to take your valuable, I guess you were clearing out all your old Tech TV memorabilia. I'm going to take this on the Alaska cruise. Take them out, see if anybody notices. Well, hello. It's time to talk tech with me, the tech guy, Leo Laporte. 8888 Ask Leo is my phone number if you have a question or a comment or a suggestion. If you want to talk high tech, 888-827-5536. Toll free from anywhere in the U.S. or Canada. Outside that area, you can still reach me. All you have to do is use Skype out or something like that. 8888 Ask Leo should be toll-free from anywhere in the world. Anywhere in the world. The website, techguylabs.com. That's where you'll find links to everything we talk about on the show, all the answers, all the questions. There's even audio and video there after the fact of the show in its entirety. Plus a transcript. There's something new we added so that you can, there's a text file. You can search for what you're looking for, and it has time codes and jump right to that part of the show. All there and all free, techguylabs.com. Just look for episode 1891. We're almost in the 20th century. Michael on the line from Torrance, California. Hi, Michael. Leo Laporte, the tech guy.
We were talking, I don't know if I hung up on you or what, but...
oh, yeah, we were talking before, but I picked you up again. So,
okay, good.
Yes. So you never got to the question, so go ahead.
Okay. So for the idiots that are still using Windows, like me, I'm on the...
You're not an idiot for using Windows. I'm sure you have an excellent reason to do it.
Well, I need to.
You're a masochist. You like to beat yourself up. That's a good reason. You like to suffer when you use an operating system. That's a good reason.
Well, anyhow, as far as the Insider Ring, I was on the beta channel, and about 3 weeks ago, somehow the dev channel and the beta channel merged.
Yeah.
Did you hear about that?
Yeah. Yeah, Microsoft changed the rings.
Okay, so what I was getting was new builds every single day. And restarting, you had to screwed up all the libraries.
Again, you're just reinforcing what I've been saying, and I'm saying it somewhat facetiously. But, you have to have a certain amount of willingness to suffer, especially as an insider.
Yeah.
So, yeah, Microsoft rearranged the rings. I remember we were talking about this on our Windows Weekly show with Paul Thurrott and Mary Jo Foley. The rings, for those who don't know, most people should never even have to think about this. You download Windows, you don't even download it. You buy a machine, it has Windows on it, and you continue to use it, updating regularly whenever there's a critical update, which is every second Tuesday of the month, to make sure that all the security patches are applied, and that's that. You don't think about it. Yeah. But you and many others, you're not alone, millions of others, want to try pre-release versions of Windows. And for that, Microsoft has the Insider program. And within the Insider program, as you know, there are rings, which they used to be fast and slow. And now, as you know, they've renamed them and they've changed them, and everything's a little bit different now.
Yeah.
So what ring? You were on which ring?
I was on, the beta channel.
Okay. So that, and the intention, now, what I think, as I remember, when you do it on Windows, it says, if you would like to have, kind of the final release of the next version of Windows ahead of time, that's the beta channel. Is that right?
Yeah, Dev channel is for
that's cutting edge. Yeah.
Yeah.
So beta is the middle. So there was the release preview channel. That's the one. If you want to do this, most people, unless you're really brave, should be on the release preview channel. That's going to be.
My only problem is, I'm on the beta channel, but they merged Dev and Beta.
Yeah.
And, it got really screwy. So my recommendation to everybody, unless you want to suffer like I have, do not get on the Insider ring. And if you don't need to run Windows, don't do it.
Yeah, I agree.
Don't get a back 11780 or something. Run Linux, run Unix.
Yeah, well, a lot of people need Windows. If you're a gamer, for instance, all the best games are on Windows. If you're in business, all of our business office uses Windows because they want Excel and so forth. I understand that.
Yeah.
There is a blog post, blogs.windows.com, in which they explain the rings. The problem is, it's a moving target. This blog post, let me look here. It's the Windows Insider blog. This is June 15th, 2020. And I think it's even changed from then. But in this one, they changed fast and skip ahead rings into Dev channel, slow ring into Beta channel, and release preview ring into release preview channel. But I think even that has changed since. So
it definitely has. Yeah.
So you were on the Beta, which they say is right for early adopters, get builds tied to a specific upcoming release. These will be, this is important, according to Microsoft 2 years ago, these will be reliable with updates validated by Microsoft. A reasonable ring to be on, except not, because you're getting, it screwed you up.
Yeah, no.
Yeah.
No, it did. And I also put a little text on your desktop. It said that this version of Windows will expire September 1st, 2022. Which made me think, what the heck is going on? And then I did some research, and now it's gone. They fixed that. But anyhow, my advice, just if you don't need Windows, get a Chromebook.
You're
Linux.
sounding like me now, Michael. I thought you were going to offend it.
Oh, no. The only reason I use it, I need to use it.
Yeah.
But, I've got a Linux.
I actually, because I'm sitting right now in front of a Mac on my left and a Linux computer on my right, and no Windows computer here. And I've realized that is a gap in my my knowledge and my tech array here on the show. I need to have a Windows machine. So I ordered a Dell XPS 15. I also wanted to test the new 12th generation Intel processors, which sound like they're much improved. So I ordered that. Unfortunately, because of supply chain issues, I won't be getting it for some time. But I'm hoping by July. Anyway, there are many reasons people should run Windows, and I I know I sound dismissive of Windows. People are always writing me saying, why are you so mean to poor old little Microsoft? And I don't mean to be mean. I have the same message as you do. Unless you need Windows and you know you need Windows, you'd be better off using something else.
That's correct.
And if you are using Windows, whatever you do, don't go on the insider rings.
That's correct.
What are you, nuts?
Don't be an idiot.
Don't be like Michael, folks.
That's right. Yeah.
So it screwed up your library. Are you just going to have to reinstall, or what are you going to do?
I reinstalled some programs, but but the builds come every single day. So
that's not what you want. Yeah.
No.
Yeah, that's why, and we say this all the time when we talk about the Insiders program, is this is really for hardcore enthusiasts who are, and you shouldn't put on a production machine, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. But nobody does that. Nobody does that.
Well, that's why I've got 3 running computers, 2 backups.
Yeah.
One main.
And most of the people listening to this show are completely competent to run Windows. If you are your own IT department and you're willing to, maintain the security of it, and you know how to run it, it's fine. It's just that it's probably overkill for a lot of people. So I take your advice to heart. I think you're right.
Well, I hate helping. I'm always IT support for my family for the last 30 years.
Right.
I've been out of the business for 20 years.
Yeah.
So,
for them, I say don't get Windows. Yeah, I don't think anybody in my family is running Windows. I think they've learned their lesson. Michael, thank you. I'm glad we get you back on.
No, that's cool. Thank you. Take care.
Have a great day. Leo Laporte, the tech guy, 8888 Ask Leo, the phone number. More of your calls still to come. Stay right here. Leo Laporte, the tech guy. 8888 Ask Leo, the phone number. Jim on the line from Glendale, California. Hi, Jim.
Hi, Jim here again for the third time.
Third time in your life?
Yep.
Not the third time today.
No.
Oh, thank goodness. Welcome.
A real simple question for you here. You remember I tried iPhone for a while and went back on Android.
Yes. That Jim. I know which one you are now.
Yes, I won't comment on the previous call right now. I want to get right to the point.
Okay.
What I want to ask you about is something that I got in the habit of using that I'd never used before when I was on Android, when I had the iPhone, was the, talking to the phone, whatever you call it, Siri or what have you.
Yeah.
So to get directions.
And by the way, Google does that too.
Yeah, and I'm using, what is it, OK Google. I do that. So
you could say OK Google. Google, I don't know why they abandoned this. Last generation of phones, Pixel 4, you could squeeze the phone and it would talk to it, which I thought was a nice feature. They took that out, unfortunately.
Well, here's what happens consistently. I live in Glendale. Today I went over to Pasadena to take care of some business, and while I was over there, I wanted some iced tea. So I said, OK, Google, find a McDonald's near me. And it found me some McDonald's near where I live in Glendale.
Very nice.
I was in Pasadena.
Yes.
And here's a little troubleshooting I did, and what I can tell you. If I
do that all the time, by the way. We were in Napa on Thursday or Friday morning, and I said, find a breakfast near me. And we found a lovely breakfast place. So,
as long as it's near you and not near where you were 2 hours ago.
Oh, well, that's not Google's fault.
Well, I know. I'm trying to get an answer here. So if I go to Google and say, "Okay, Google, where am I?" It told me. I did this today when I was in Pasadena. It gave me my home address. I'm not at home.
It's not up to date.
Away.
Yeah.
And the other thing I found out is if I go into Google and say, "Okay, Google, show my location on the map," it will show my accurate location on the map, and then after that, if I ask it to find a McDonald's, it will find one near me. But why won't it do that from the beginning?
So there's a couple of things at play here. As they will tell you, turn on your Wi-Fi. I know you're not using the Wi-Fi, but it uses Wi-Fi in conjunction with GPS to find your location. So that's one way you can make location information more accurate. On the other hand, what it sounds like to me is you have not given location permissions to OK Google, whereas you have given it to Google Maps. They're separate things. So the maps have permissions to always, and you want it because you're using it for GPS navigation. You want it to always have a precise location. And so you do that in the settings. You can go into your settings and look at location settings, or look at the settings for that in all the individual apps. I think for the Google Assistant, it's probably called Google Assistant. You want to make sure that those are turned on and they're precise location information.
Okay, I know that I went in and, because I was thinking along the same lines, I went in and I made sure that the maps had full access to the location at any time, but I didn't check.
Yeah, it's not just maps, it's the assistant.
Okay, I'll do that. Maybe that's the solution to my problem.
And then do you leave Wi-Fi on or do you turn it off?
Well, I leave it on all the time.
Yeah, you should. Because what they do is they send those Google cars out, and they actually, using the GPS built into the car, they will triangulate visible Wi-Fi signals, and they'll say, well, if you're 15 feet from this one and 20 feet from that one and 30 feet from that one, you're at GPS location X, and they now know. And so this is an assistant, and it's helpful if you're in areas where the GPS is weak. The other thing to know about GPS is it's not instantaneous. When you first use GPS device in any area for the first time, it'll do something called build a GPS almanac, which it stores that's information about where the satellites are, et cetera, et cetera. And that almanac really helps it work faster. But the first time you use GPS in any location, it's not going to be very fast. It has to build the almanac first. So there's a couple of things at play that could impact this. If you don't ever go to Pasadena, that could be it.
Well, hadn't been there in a while, but yeah, it's something that happens. I mean, it happens all the time.
I suspect it's because of location permissions, and this is all for privacy, right? We, you know, and this is sometimes. Look, I am now a fan of privacy restrictions. I've been in the past kind of saying, well, you know, all it is targeted advertising. What's the harm in that? But we're starting to see governments, police agencies, and others use this information even without a warrant, and I think it's problematic. So I'm starting to get serious about that. And it's because of this that we have lots of limitations on what these phones can do. And, you know, in a perfect world, if location information was used judiciously, you would want to leave it on all the time because it is it's useful. But we got to remember that, you know, others have access to this information. In fact, there's a big issue with data brokers now who are buying this information, collecting it, and then selling it on to other people, including, sad to say, law enforcement. So that's an issue, I think. It's become an issue. Yeah.
Well, that's what I want to know. Incidentally, real quickly, I will tell you that I heard your previous caller. I worked in radio, too, for about 10 years, but it was a long time ago. Radio, you know, it's funny. You get it in your blood, don't you? Absolutely. In college, I got into the college radio station, and it infected me, and I fell in love with the medium. There's something about radio. I still love it. There's something about radio. It's an intimate medium because I'm talking right in your ear. And there's just something that goes on that's just, I think, wonderful. But unfortunately, as a business, it's gotten worse and worse and worse. And my company, the company that owns this show, Premier Radio Networks, which is owned by iHeart, iHeart understands that. They now call themselves not the world's largest radio company, but the world's largest audio company, because they understand it really it's about audio, and that's why podcasts have become so important. People do like the idea of hearing somebody. I think live and local is really great. That's one thing radio does better than anybody. I think radio is better because it leaves more to your imagination. I do. Much better than TV. You don't need pictures. Absolutely. It was very hard for me working in TV because, especially when you're talking about abstract things, as we often do in technology, they always have to have a picture. So you see a lot of pictures of hands on mice, computer screens going blah, 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 because they have to cover it with something. But it's an abstract idea. And once you realize that they're just filling the space, it kind of becomes an annoyance. So, yeah, I like audio, especially for abstract ideas, for concepts, for thoughts, for feelings. I think it really works well. Well, I started in radio, did 10 years in radio. Actually, it overlapped. It was most of it was part-time, doing weekends and fill-in. But I did about 10 years in radio from the time I was from high school to my early 20s, and that led into television and television production, which is how I actually earned my living. For the
Good. So, you were smart, as anybody would be. About that. You moved on. I didn't. I continue. I'm going down with the ship. Hey, always a pleasure to talk to you, Jim. Thank you.
Take care.
Take care. 8888 Ask Leo, the phone number. See, Jim, you could tell Jim worked in the business. He knew exactly when it was time to wind up the call because we have to take a break. We'll come back. Dick Debartolo, our Gizwiz, coming up in 15. More of your calls right after this. Oh, I love this song. Leo Laporte, the tech guy. 8888 Ask Leo, the phone number. Back we go to the lines. Richard on the line from Redondo Beach, California. Hi, Richard.
Hey, Leo.
Hey, welcome.
Last year, I think it was about Thanksgiving-ish, about my dad's computer, but you and I talked off air about my astrophotography.
Yes. Yes.
So I have a new problem for you, not astrophotography related.
Okay.
I just got the new Z7 Nikon.
Yeah.
Not the new one, the 2.
Okay.
And I traded in my D5 and my old Z7 and all of my F lenses, more or less, because I ordered the Z9. So I'm prepping for trying to get the Z9 to tether and any studio work I do in the meantime with the Z7, and Lightroom is ignoring me.
Yeah. You're shooting RAW.
Now,
Are you shooting RAW?
Yeah, Capture One worked great. I had to reinstall it. As much as all pros say you got to use it, I hate it.
So here's the deal, and I don't know why companies do this, but they do. The RAW format changes almost every time there's a new camera. Adobe for a while was pushing this digital negative format, the DNG format, hoping that camera companies would adopt it so they wouldn't have to do this. But every time a new camera comes out, they have to add that camera's RAW format to Adobe Camera Raw. Adobe Camera Raw is what takes the file that you've created. If you just open that RAW file, you probably know this, it'd be black and white, it'd be weird looking. But the Adobe Camera Raw knows how to turn that into a image on the screen. It's the same processing that's going on in the camera to create the JPEG thumbnail that you see. So you can get the thumbnail. If you were shooting in JPEG, you can get that. But the RAW, you have to wait until ACR is updated. And apparently, it's not been updated yet. That would be my guess. Meanwhile, Capture One has updated it because they use a different. Well, they have their own RAW engine.
Understood, but I have a different issue. Lightroom will not even see that the camera exists.
So you mean when you connect it via USB, it won't see it?
Correct, and I even
can you use a card reader on the card and import it?
No. Oh, I could probably do that, but that's.
You don't want to do that. Okay. Okay.
I have to shoot tether on these jobs.
Oh, you're tethering. Oh, yeah, that's another matter entirely. Yeah.
So what happens is when you go to the Nikon and go to the setups that say network connect to PC, it gives me a screen that I haven't seen in years. I used to be an IT capable guy. I'm not so much anymore. But it's actually giving me an SSID and a network ID and saying,
It's doing it via Wi-Fi, not via the cable.
But it said that's under the PC Connect settings. And I'm like, well, that's wrong. So I gave up and I reinstalled Capture One. And I plug in the USB cable and I turn on the camera and I'm shooting away.
Yeah. So I'm looking at community.adobe.com, and apparently they've been slow to get the tethering working on the Z7, or the Z7 II, I should say. Right. So they actually have to build that in. If let me go to helpx.adobe.com/lightroom-classic/kb/tethered-camera-support.html and see what it supports. If it doesn't, those are Nikons. Let's see. Tethering with the following models may be unreliable on Mac OS when burst shooting. No, not that one. So in other words, they build this support into the software, which is ridiculous. You want live view, right?
It'd be nice.
Yeah, it says Z7, yes. It does support the Z7. I do not see support for Z7 II, even though that camera's been out for more than a year, right?
Yes.
Crazy. Thank you, Adobe. Maybe they want you to use Lightroom CC. Do you think they want you to use Lightroom CC? I've been waiting for Adobe to do this. So no one who uses Lightroom wants to use Adobe Creative Cloud's Lightroom, the more modern Lightroom. It's missing features. It's terrible. So everybody uses what Adobe calls Lightroom Classic, and we're all waiting for Adobe to finally say, yeah, that's it. You got to use CC. Except Adobe isn't doing that because they know they would lose everybody to Capture One and other programs. This is, I bet you anything, if you try Lightroom CC, and you should get it. It's part of your subscription. You can download it. I bet you it works.
It's interesting. Okay. I was debating if I had to format my laptop and start it over and then...
I'm looking, and I'll put this in the show notes. I'm looking at the page, tethered camera support, and for Lightroom Classic, and last updated August 2021. I hate Adobe. I understand. I use Lightroom too, and I have a giant Lightroom catalog with tens of thousands of images. Honestly, I think Capture One's better. In fact, honestly, I think we're rapidly, if you're using a Mac anyway, or moving to a world where Serif's Affinity Photo and Pixelmator are better choices, because Adobe is just a greedy, bad company.
But that still puts you back into the getting in and out of Photoshop without any secondary steps.
I know.
Little stuff like that when you're dealing with, 5,000 images and you're popping through. Nobody's been able to keep up with. I mean, even Capture One is a nightmare when you go in and out of Photoshop.
Yeah, of course, because Photoshop's from Adobe. So honestly, I think people are abandoning Creative Cloud entirely and using, instead of Photoshop, using Affinity Photo. There are a variety of camera raw and tethering programs you can use that are actually fast. Adobe Lightroom's a pig.
That's true.
Right? It's really slow.
It's fast enough for corporate headshots and things like that, where you're sitting there going banging through and you just want to pick your nice one as you go. The advantage to that is when you're done, you're in Lightroom, you've got your selected files, and you just go to work on the 40 images you need to work on, and, you take the green...
Yeah, then it's fine. Right. So a lot of people do that. They'll use some sort of raw front end to do the selection that's fast, and then they can work in Lightroom. And we all have the muscle memory of Lightroom. All those keys are built into my fingers. But Adobe, it's very frustrating. I don't know what to say. I was a huge Lightroom fan, big supporter of Lightroom. Still have to use it, I guess, but I'm looking more. I bought Capture One. I'm starting to use that instead. There aren't very many. There's nothing that's a direct replacement yet, which is weird.
Is there any solution to importing my existing, 500,000 images, various catalogs over the years?
Not that I know of.
Another program?
No, not that I know of, and that's why people still use it, right? This is a huge opportunity for some company to come along. It must be harder than we think. The company Skylum, for years, they do some interesting and nice tools, more for amateurs, but they have been promising a digital asset management, plug-in replacement for Lightroom for years, and it still hasn't come out. There's got to be it must be hard to do, I guess, because what a business opportunity. If somebody came along with something that was compatible, that could just take your millions of Lightroom images and put them in a more modern, better supported, less expensive solution, they'd win. Adobe's ripe for the plucking. I don't understand why it hasn't happened yet. I really don't.
It doesn't even have to be less expensive in all honesty.
No, I know. In fact, Cloud's not that. I mean, $10 a month for the photo package, Photoshop, and Lightroom is not bad. It's worth it especially if you're a pro. I don't know. So apparently the answer to your question is they don't support that camera yet.
Okay. Leo, did you ever get my email with my...
Hold on a second. I got to take a break, and we'll talk off the air. Leo Laporte, the tech guy, the Giz Wiz, coming up. I'm sorry, Richard, your email, what was your email about?
You asked me about my astrophotography. I sent you a couple of images.
I did, and they were beautiful. Did I not respond? I apologize. I did see them.
You had mentioned you wanted me to talk to somebody about something having to do with your show. That's the only reason I'm asking.
Oh, now I don't remember. Yeah, we were talking about astrophotography. Was it with Chris? I don't remember. Let me look for your email, and maybe if I find the email, it will jog my memory. Because I do remember seeing the pictures; they were great. I'm terrible with email. I get so much, and I can
imagine. That's why I was surprised when you told me to email it.
Well, yeah, and I did see it, and I looked at the pictures, but I didn't follow up on whatever that was that I was thinking. Yeah, because we were at one point, it might have been Ant. I think Ant was doing a hands-on photography about astrophotography. Here, email ant@twit.tv and send him those images. And I think that was a timely thing, like he was about to do hands-on photography on astrophotography. But he might still be interested. And certainly I know he'd love to see the images. Yeah, I'm pretty sure it was, now that I think about it, it's Ant Pruitt, ANTPRUITT, but his email is ant@twit.tv.
Okay, I'll see if I can remember that long enough.
Hey, I really appreciate it. So are you still doing astrophotography, or is that more of a hobby?
Well, it's always been a hobby. The problem is that when I talked to you last, I was living on 7 acres in Rancho Palos Verdes.
Yes. So you had nice dark skies.
Right. That went away, and I am now in a condo on at the Redondo Pier.
Yeah.
So I am good for once a month up in the mountains.
Nice.
That's about it.
Nice. Yeah, those are beautiful shots. And I think I was interested in your setup and how you were doing it. And I think Ant would have been interested in that as well. Just email him and say, Leo forgot to pass this along to you, just to let you know, and I'm still around. And if you ever want to do another show about astrophotography, I'd be glad to, be here for you or something like that.
Cool.
Hey, it's really nice to talk to you. Thank you. And I'm sorry about Adobe. We're all sorry about Adobe. Jeez.
I thought for sure by working it out on the Z7 II, I'd be set before the Z9 gets here.
Yeah, you'd think so.
But now I'm frightened that when the Z9 gets here, I won't be able to tether it.
I bet you anything Lightroom CC tethers with it. I would not be surprised at all.
That's interesting. I hate that just because I have so many.
No, you don't want to. Well, they want you to use both and maybe gradually move over. I don't know. They still have many features missing from CC that are in Lightroom Classic. So I don't understand what their strategy is. I just don't. Yeah, I don't get it.
Oh, by the way, remember my original? Well, you don't remember. No way. My original phone call to you was about trying to get my father, who's losing his vision, back on the Wall Street Journal.
Yeah? Did you figure it out?
Yeah, we gave up. I literally figured out a way to make it easy for him to do the podcast.
Well, that's good. That probably satisfies his yen for financial news.
It's hard enough. It's hard for him to read the headings on the podcast well enough to figure out which to listen to.
Oh, we're all headed that way.
I know, right?
Richard, a pleasure talking to you.
You too. Thanks, Leo.
See ya. Hello, Dickie D.
Hey, Leo. How you doing?
All right. How are you?
I'm okay. Thank you.
What's the matter?
Oh, no, I'm fine.
You sound...
Where's Micah?
We had a little COVID outbreak at the Oil Radio Ranch and had to send everybody home.
Gosh.
He's fine, though.
Okay, good.
He's fine. I feel love. Oh, no, it's not love. It's just the gizwiz. Still sends a chill down my spine. It's the same thing. Dick Debartolo, our Disco Dick, is here. Mad Magazine's maddest writer. And I call him our gizwiz, our gizmo wizard. He joins me every week to talk about his favorite gizmos or gadgets. Hello, Dickie D.
Leo, how are you doing, pal?
Well, after that Donna Summers impression, I think I'm I'm a little bit in pain here. I don't, which is better than the listeners who are absolutely suffering.
Yes, yeah. They're in worse pain, but that's okay.
Yeah.
I lowered my volume.
Good, smart man. Always do that before I come on. So Dick usually stops by with something fun or interesting. What do you have?
Yeah,
this
well, you
week
know
for
what?
us?
I have two interesting things. Last week I mentioned I went to PepCom, and they had two shows, Now Health and Now Home. And at the home part, I found two kitchen gadgets. One I think everybody might be interested in.
I'm a big fan. I love kitchen gadgets.
Oh, well, one you might be interested in. Okay.
Lisa won't
All right,
let
the
me
one
buy anymore. She says counter space is at a premium. Please.
Oh, wait a minute. The first one will solve that.
Oh, good.
Okay. Actually, they both will solve that.
Oh,
Okay.
good.
Black & Decker is coming out with, in July, Kitchen Wizard.
Okay,
So it's a handheld
Black & Decker, not a name I associate with kitchen gadgets.
No. Actually, they have branched out. You know, let's see, at CES, they introduced a drink maker called the
Oh, that's
Bev.
right.
Yes.
So what is this?
So this is...
Wait, can I guess what a kitchen wand does?
Yes.
It turns liver and onions into pork chops and fried chicken.
God, he's good. None of that.
Now that
None
I
of
would
that.
that I would buy. That I would buy.
Oh, okay. No, the Kitchen Wizard comes with, it's a handheld device, okay, battery operated. You can attach the milk frother. You can attach the can opener. You can attach the salt and pepper grinder.
It does it all.
You can attach the wine bottle opener.
What the hell?
The whisk attachment.
How many attachments does this thing
immersion-
have?
Six attachments.
Do they come with it, or do you have to? Are attachments sold separately?
It's sold three ways. It's sold as a complete set, which is $199.99.
Okay.
It also comes in two carry cases.
You have to have a carry case?
Well, if you want to.
I'm here. I've got my wand with me. Holy cow!
There you go. Or you can buy.
He must be a
wand
professional cook. He has a case for his magic wand.
Yeah, exactly. Or you can buy the cordless with the immersion blender for $99.
I already have an immersion blender, but that's all it does. It doesn't grind pepper.
Oh yeah, no,
So,
this does,
yeah.
and the bottle opener is really fast. Let me.
Oh, is it really? Oh, that sounds.
Yeah, yeah.
So I can see why Black & Decker, they make drills, they make electric screwdrivers. This is just the same handle with kitchen attachments, basically.
Yeah, it doesn't come with a screwdriver attachment. I'll talk to them about
They
that.
really ought to. They might as well.
Yes. Now, the other one, Leo.
Yes.
Okay.
Okay.
A man who bought the June oven for $1,600.
I have now. I'm on my third June oven. I got one for Mom for Mother's Day. Tomorrow. Yeah.
Okay. Multo by Cooking Pal can chop, saute, steam, slow cook, whisk, weigh
need this.
ingredients, knead, grind, grate, boil, emulsify, sous vide, clean.
Wow.
So it comes with its own wireless pad. Every week they send you 5 to 10 new recipes.
Oh, I know what this is competing with. The Thermomix, which I have.
Okay.
It's very similar. It does all, in fact, it even kind of looks similar. Yeah, it's like a blender with a crock pot with all of the stuff in one thing. It cooks and grinds. Yeah, okay. Yeah.
Yes. In one of the videos, she was mixing something, but on top, fish was cooking.
Yes,
and
that's
on
a
top of the
Thermomix.
fish,
Yes.
Vegetables were steaming.
Yes, it's got a steaming basket, all that stuff.
Yes, yes.
Yeah.
This guy
now the Thermomix is $1,500. It's expensive.
$9.99.
Oh, wow. Much and with the Thermomix, you also have to subscribe to get the recipes. You have to subscribe for, I don't know what it is, $30 or $40 a year to Cookie Doo, which is their recipe
she
site.
didn't mention.
So you get the recipes for free with this?
For free.
Nice.
She mentioned nothing about any sort of a
No
charge.
subscriptions.
And I'm looking on Amazon
I'm
now.
liking
it looks like
this.
there's also a $50 coupon. So it's $9.50.
If I don't already have a Thermomix,
you
we
might.
love
Yeah, I
our
know.
Thermomix. It's really
Oh,
great.
good.
I make mashed potatoes in it in half an hour. No lumps, no fuss, no muss. I make a risotto, which normally you have to stir constantly. It does all the stirring. Very easy. Soups. You can, nice.
Yeah. I was thinking about all I could do is make popcorn in the top while I'm making a peanut butter and jelly sandwich.
You're not a big cauliflower lover. Is that the problem? You need more cauliflower in your life.
More cauliflower.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Oh, this is you know what? This is all the rage. So the Thermomix, which is I think Swiss or German, is very popular in Europe. It's and this looks just like.
Oh, okay.
The Thermomix.
Yeah, I was surprised when I was doing some research after I saw this that it's a category. I thought
it's a category.
It's a category.
Wow, this looks pretty good though. Yeah, see, it has the same steaming thing on top and all that. Yeah.
Yeah, and I said, just plugs into a regular outlet, and she said, absolutely.
No, you need a 220 volt dryer outlet to keep this thing going. No.
The same thing you use to charge your car.
Yeah, exactly.
No,
the biggest difference in this, the Thermomix, the screen is built into the body, so the body's bigger. This has a standalone screen that you can move around.
I think that's almost better, isn't it?
Yeah, I think it would be. Yeah. But boy, in every other respect, it's very similar. Interesting.
Excellent.
$1,000, but if it's for the guy who has everything and wants more, needs more, can't get enough of everything.
Perfect.
The Cooking Pal Multo.
Multo.
M-U-L-T-O. Multo. Now, if you want to know more about either one of these gadgets, I love it when you do cooking.
Okay. I'm glad.
Yeah, because that's kind of one of my hobbies. Go to gizwiz.biz, GIZWIZ.biz. If you click the tile that says the GizWiz Visits the Tech Guy, you'll see all the things he's mentioned on this show. There's another one for the GizWiz Visits World News Now on ABC. You do that every month. There's all sorts of interesting stuff there. You can buy Mad Magazine memorabilia, Match Game memorabilia. Dick was the chief writer for the Match Game for many years. He also has a fun little game, the What the Heck Is It contest, which just ended, right?
Yes, and a new one began.
So tell us what it was.
Okay.
Do you remember? It looked like like one of those buttons that you press that says that was easy.
Yeah, well, it was very clever. It was actually a pizza cutter.
Oh, I would never
that
guess
can also do vegetables. And what's clever about it is when you are cooking, chopping up vegetables, you leave the two stainless steel cutters wide apart. So they roll over what you're chopping up. When it's time to cut a pizza, squeeze the two red buttons and the two stainless plates become one and you cut pizzas.
So it looks like some people actually didn't know it was the Kitchen IQ 2-in-1 herb pizza cutter, but did kind of get the pizza cutter part. That's pretty good.
Yeah, they did. Yeah, well, 3 people won, and one got pretty close. So.
And then some others guessed the wrong answer, but did it in a clever, creative way. That's how it works. Take a look at the new gadget. It looks like Papa Smurf's liver, but who knows? It could be anything.
Always talking about something to eat.
Yes, that's me. GizWiz.biz, chance to win an autographed copy of Mad Magazine from this guy right here. You have a couple of months to play, so plenty of time to come up with a clever answer. And, of course, don't forget Dick's podcast at gizwiz.tv. Thank you, Dickie D.
Thank you, sir. Take care.
Take care. Thanks to all of you who joined us. Thanks to Professor Laura, our musical director, Kim Schaffer, the phone angel. Micah Sargent had the day off. He'll be back next week. Thanks to all of you. I'll be back next time. Leo Laporte, the Tech Guy. Have a great Geek Week. Well, that's it for the Tech Guy Show for today. Thank you so much for being here. And don't forget, TWIT, T-W-I-T. It stands for This Week in Tech, and you'll find it at twit.tv, including the podcasts for this show. We talk about Windows on Windows Weekly, Macintosh on Mac Break Weekly, iPads, iPhones, Apple Watches on iOS Today, security on Security Now. I mean, I can go on and on and on. And, of course, the big show every Sunday afternoon, This Week in Tech. You'll find it all at twit.tv. And I'll be back next week with another great Tech Guys show. Thanks for joining me. We'll see you next time.